There we go. My mic is no longer muted. Hello, hello. Oh, hydrate already. Okay. What do I do with my water? There's my water. Anyways, hello, how's everyone doing today? I'm doing pretty good, I think. I have school is pretty light today. Oh, 60-second ad break is starting. Okay. How do I fix that? How do I fix that? I mean, I guess this is why we do like chatting sections at the beginning. I should have my Do I not have the ability to get my ads manager up here? Hello? Okay. Uh Oh, good. Absolute Martian Manhunter drops today, and one of my favorite games is being played today. Oh, one of your favorite games, as in Slay the Princess, or something else? Also, didn't I feel like I feel like there's an Absolute series that like just started not too long ago. I feel like it's fast for Martian Manhunter to drop, or maybe I'm getting my timelines mixed up. But anyways, we're playing Slay the Princess today. I've got the pristine cut version because that was what was on sale when I got it. So I don't really know. I know that it has extra endings, I think, but I don't know how it differs otherwise from the Slay the Princess base game since I haven't played the base game. So we will see how it goes. I There was something I wanted to say. Oh, I've got Seribot now. It'll let me know. Ideally, let me know when there's ad breaks so I can like pause the gameplay so those of y'all who aren't subscribed don't miss too much. Slay the Princess is one of my favorite games to come out of 2023. Also, yeah, Flash dropped last week. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, it seems really soon for another Absolute series to drop, but I mean, I guess if they've got the time and the resources, why not? But at the same time, I always like worry when I see like several different series that are all related to each other drop in quick succession because I'm worried about the artists being overworked, but I guess I can't exactly tell if they're being overworked from here. So, Slay the Princess is one of my favorite games to come out of 2023. Yeah, I have. Oh my god, I have so many games to catch up on from 23 and 24. I am going to probably put together another survey in my Discord for figuring out what else I'm going to play because now that I've finished Of the Devil and I've finished Thousand Times Resist, I probably want one other game to fill out my lineup. But I have yet to figure out what that game will be. I did decide that I don't think I'm going to finish The Witness on stream because I just don't have the brain power to both solve the puzzles in that game and like be engaging with stream. So I will probably go ahead and just finish that on my own time. I might like I might try and like drop by if I'm playing it, I might go to VC in my server and that way those of y'all who still want to watch it can, but I can't guarantee I will be very engaging since most of my brain power is going to be going towards puzzle solving. So yeah, I will need to find one other game to fill out my lineup. I have my March demo day coming up around the end of this week. This Friday, I think I had it scheduled for. So I will have that to do. But I still am going to have to find another game. Oh, also, hi Pelican. Oh, I just remembered. I always forget. I have been meaning to make like one of those like little 1 point lurker redeems so people who want to lurk can stop by and say hello without having to post in chat. And like specifically so I can say hello to them because I feel bad about like not properly saying hi to lurkers. I mean, if you're lurking, I guess you don't want to be called out, but still I feel bad about it. Like I appreciate y'all. I don't know who's here when you're lurking. Uh so I've been meaning to put together like a little one channel point redeem for that. And also, I'm gonna try and put together some more, like, fun channel point redeems so that that's a little more there, because I feel like there's so many people who I see who have, like, really, really cool redeems, and I don't have, and I feel like I don't really have that many cool redeems in comparison. I tried to have the glasses redeem. I could actually turn the glasses redeem back on, probably. Viewer reward, power-ups and channel points. Channel points. Okay, so now that's back on. Although it is still slightly expensive because, you know, I can't really see without my glasses. Oh, also, hi, Rainer. Sorry, I didn't see you were over on YouTube. Black Tabby Games, who made Slay the Princess, also just released an update for Scarlet Hollow. I have heard of Scarlet Hollow. That's another one I haven't played. I guess it can go on my list. I don't know if it's a visual novel like this one or if it's a different gameplay format. But I have seen a lot of, like, the marketing stuff for that one, and the aesthetic looks very cool. Also, hello, da-da-da. I need to pull up a translator for that. Google Translate. Google Translate, my beloved. This game again. I have not actually played this one yet, so I'm not... I mean, I have some idea of what I'm walking into. I know it's a visual novel with, like, repeating elements, and it's about slaying the princess or not actually slaying the princess. But that's about all I know in terms of what I'm getting into, so we'll see. I've heard the writing's really good. And I know that it got a lot of praise back when it was released. Although I'm playing it really late now, like, not 2 years later, but probably around 1.5 years after its release, so I'm a little late. But you know what? We're doing it anyway. I've known I wanted to stream this for a long time, but then I had other games that were on my list that I was going to stream and then ran out of, like, time to see this. Seen a walkthrough of this game 5 times. Damn. I mean, I knew it was popular, but not like that popular. All right. I think I'm going to get started. Oh, just for the record, I've been looking through a couple of my old... I've been going through a couple of my old VODs trying to find clips. And I've noticed that my overall audio is a little low, but especially my mic audio tends to be a little low in comparison to the game audio. So please just let me know if I can, like, fix my audio balance. Please let me know. I want my audio balance to be good. And this is always a struggle. All right, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my gaming overlay, and we will get started. Oh, my game capture's not working. Why is my game capture not working? Slay the princess. All right, come on. Work with me, please. There we go. Okay. Then I can make it just a little bigger so it fits in my overlay properly. There we go. Turn on my game audio. Okay, so I've been, like, this music has been playing in the background for a hot second. Well, as long as I've had the game open. And I swear there is one very specific part of it that sounds exactly like Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, and it triggers that little flag in my brain every time I hear it. Even though I know objectively that this is likely not sampling Moonlight Sonata, but it sounds like Moonlight Sonata, and that's all my brain needs to make the Alright, one tip, dialogue options marked Explore are free, essentially. Anything not marked Explore moves the scene forward. Okay. I can work with that. Alright. New game. I have not messed with any of the settings on this, so please let me know if there's, again, anything I can do to fix it.
In the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
That's a lot of dialogue options. Sweet, I've always wanted to off a monarch. Viva la revolution.
I'm talking about the end of everything as we know it. No more birds, no more trees, and perhaps most problematically of all, no more people. You have to put an end to her.
Oh. Okay, so we're jumping straight to murder. But how can a princess locked away in a basement end the world?
Don't linger on the specifics. You have a job to do here. Just get in there and do what needs to be done. We're all counting on you. Look, you're already on the path that leads to the cabin. Why would you be here if it weren't to complete a very important task? You've made it this far, you might as well reach the end of your journey.
Oh, my little pointer has a claw on it. Interesting. Or just one very long nail. But it looks more like a claw than it does look like a long nail. Alright, here we go. Have you considered that maybe the only reason she's going to end the world is because she's locked up?
While I appreciate the mental exercise, we are running up against a bit of a ticking clock. Nevertheless, let me assure you, the princess is locked up because she's dangerous. She is not dangerous because she's locked up. And before you decide to waste even more of our time by asking how I know that, let me suggest a more pragmatic lens through which to view this situation.
Is the pragmatic lens murder?
Causality doesn't matter here, because the end result is the same no matter what led us up to this point. If the princess leaves the cabin, the world will end, and there is no changing that. It's no use arguing semantics over a metaphorical chicken or egg, because the egg is hatched and it's about to ruin everything.
I mean, if you want to talk semantics, there is a definitive answer to the question of which came first, the chicken or the egg, and the answer is the egg, because eggs existed before chickens. Chickens aren't the only animals that have eggs. But that's beside the point.
Unless, of course, you do your job and slay her.
Don't tell me what to do. Killing a princess seems kind of bad, though, doesn't it?
Are you a monarchist? Is slaying a princess that much worse than slaying a fisherman or a miller or a seamstress? If anything, slaying a princess is much better than slaying a seamstress. Seamstresses contribute something of value to society.
Okay, yes, but I'm not exactly up for slaying anyone, my dude. Can't someone else do this?
Oh, if only that were the case, but I don't make the rules. I have to say, I'm surprised at your reluctance thus far. But unfortunately for the both of us, you're the only one who can pull this off. Like I said, I don't make the rules, no matter how much I wish I did.
My dude, you were the narrator. You literally define the world. Well, in most story structures, you literally define the world. Have you considered that maybe I'm okay with the world ending?
Of course I haven't. Why would I even consider that? Nobody wants the world to end.
I don't know about that.
I mean, maybe some people do, like nihilists, or very, very evil people, but surely you're not one of those, right?
I mean, I don't think I really count as one of the evil people or nihilists, but, well, I guess I'm technically sort of nihilistic, but not in the I want the world to end sense, so. Forget it, I'm not doing this. Do I get some sort of reward for doing this? Oh, okay, I've got stuff in chat. I'm just a talking cat. Don't think too hard about it. What I do is think. I'm going to think too hard about everything. It's just in my nature. I'll ask because I'm curious. Can I play co-op games with you? I mean, I don't really play a whole lot of co-op games on average. I mean, sometimes I do. The only real co-op game I've been playing right now is Marvel Rivals. And even then, I'm not sure you'd want to play with me because I'm not particularly good at it. And, I want it to end. No! Or at least don't end right now, because I want to see what happens in this game, and if the world ends right now, then I don't get to finish the game. But, also, hi, Scarecrow. Let's see. But I'll go to the cabin and I'll talk to her, and if she's as bad as you say she is, then maybe I'll slay her. But I'm not committing to anything until I've had the chance to meet her face to face. Okay, I'm sold. Let's get this over with. Oh, okay. Thanks for telling me what to do. Silently continue to the cabin, turn around, and leave. What happens if I turn around? I probably should, like, progress the story in a more rational way, but I'm really curious to see what happens if I turn around.
Seriously? You're just going to turn around and leave? Do you even know where you're going?
No, I do not. Lie. Yes, I definitely know where I'm going. Nope. The only thing that matters is where I'm not going. Like I said, I'm pretty okay with the world ending. I relish the coming of a new dawn beyond our own. Quietly continue down the path away from the cabin. Reminds me of my favorite Persona 4 option. Be an ass and leave. Oh, did you see that they're making a Persona 4 remake? I'm not sure how I feel about it. I still haven't even played it. I still haven't even played a P3 Reload. Although Persona 4 is my favorite Persona game, so we'll see how it is. But at the same time, I do not need to be in the... I do not want to see all the discourse about specifically how the game tackles gender roles again. Like, the last thing I want to see again is discourse about all of that. But I guess if it's a Persona game, then there is naturally going to be discourse. But yeah, Persona 4 is one where reading comprehension is especially important. Oh, my game capture stopped working. Oh, there we go. Persona 4 is one where reading comprehension is especially important, and unfortunately reading comprehension seems to be a dying art. Let it end, let the world burn. Only thing that matters is where I'm not going. The cabin. I am not going to the cabin. I'm just gonna answer nope.
Fine. I suppose you just quietly continue down the path away from the cabin. Good. What we're being asked to do here is wrong.
Oh, okay.
Better to wash our hands of this whole situation than to take part in it.
I just thought it would be one of those things where the game, like, you refuse to do whatever it is and the game just ends.
Ignore that annoying little voice. He doesn't know what he's talking about. That's strange. It looks like this path also leads to the cabin. How convenient. Everything's back on track again. Maybe the world can still be saved after all.
Okay, I'm going to the cabin. Sheesh. Turn around again and leave again. Well, I think I know what I have to do.
You're really keen on wasting everyone's time, aren't you? It's remarkably selfish, if you ask me. I've already outlined the stakes of the situation. If you don't do your job, everyone dies. Like, dies. Forever.
Sounds like a party. I don't care, I'm not killing a princess. Good, maybe everyone should die. It's what they get for dumping me in the woods and asking me to kill someone for them. You're not emotionally blackmailing me into this.
Stakes and consequences aren't emotional blackmail. They're facts of life, and if you had an ounce of maturity, you'd understand that.
Well, I guess I don't have an ounce of maturity, so then what?
But fine. You turn around and trek back down the path you came.
Oh, thank you for the hydrate. Good idea. I am really glad that this has voice acting, because other than that, if it didn't have voice acting, I would be having to do all the other voices, and that would just kill my voice really fast, like it did without the devil.
The universe itself is doing its best to bring you to your fated confrontation with the princess.
Oh yeah, well I guess I start walking in a different direction. Again. In fact, I'm going to just keep trekking through the wilderness until I find a way out of this place.
There's always a choice. Let me tell you right now that you're making the wrong one for pretty much everyone who's ever lived.
I mean, if I make a choice, I'm going to stick to that choice, my dude. I am sticking to my choice. I am committing to the bet.
As you trudge into the woods, something strange starts to happen. At first, it's little flickers out of the corner of your eyes, glimpses of familiar wooden structures through the leaves. But as you focus on your surroundings, you start to realize that those flickers weren't just a trick of light.
I've only seen one person try and do a VA through Slay the Princess. It was fun, but I don't think they finished it. I mean, with the dialogue of the narrator alone, would just, like, kill, I think, a regular person's voice. Melody, I have an important and serious question. Sure, go ahead.
In every direction, there is a path and a cabin. And not just a cabin, the cabin. An infinite fractal of paths and cabins desperately trying to draw you back to where you need to be. Wait, what's going on?
If there's an infinite number of cabins, does that mean there's an infinite number of princesses? Is there an infinite number of versions of me, or is it just the one version of me and infinite everything else? Does the infinite dimensions also apply to the narrator, or is it just the cabin and the princess? Again, probably thinking too hard. Cats or dogs? Oh man, I like both. I mean, I've never owned a cat because all the rest of my family are all very allergic to cats. So I do have a dog. So I guess just dogs based on that alone. But also cats are very cute and very sweet.
But you're too stubborn for that, aren't you? It doesn't matter how many paths or cabins appear around you, you're just going to do whatever you can to shirk your responsibility because you care more about irritating me than you do about the fate of the world.
Narrator, my dude, the more aggressive you get, the more committed I am to irritating you.
You've doomed us all, you know that, right? But of course you do. Otherwise you wouldn't just wander off into the forest in search of certain death. You lose track of just how long you spend aimlessly tromping through the wilderness. But it's not like any of that time spent lost in the woods really matters, because it isn't long before the world ends and everyone dies.
Woo! I accomplished my goal! Oh, Chapter 2, The Stranger.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess.
Another question. If tomorrow you had 1 million subscribers, what would you do? Tomorrow I had 1 million subs, I would, well, first figure out if it was some sort of bot attack and make sure I don't get banned. And, second, I guess I would start streaming a lot more often. I mean, ideally, if I had 1 million subscribers, that would probably... Well, actually, I still wouldn't be able to stream more often tomorrow. I would only be able to start streaming more often after I graduate from school, but... I guess, like, hold like a celebration thing? Try and organize a celebration on really short notice. You're on a path in the woods. I've never actually seen that ending. I was not expecting it to be, like, an actual ending. I was just expecting it to do, like, that thing where, like, games will ask you to sign a contract or something at the beginning, and if you refuse to sign it, the game just ends. So I was not expecting this to be an actual story path, but here we go.
You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
I have the narrator's whole opening spiel memorized. Damn. There is another ending I've seen from Just Turning Around. Okay. I guess I'll have to experiment with it. I don't know how many endings there are, so I'm just going to experiment with my choices and see how many endings I discover naturally. And then once I'm not able to discover any endings, once I feel like I'm stuck in terms of, like, naturally coming across the endings, I can look at a guide or something. Explore, I'm getting a terrible sense of deja vu. Explore, you aren't actually kidding. She actually ended the world last time, didn't she? What the hell is she? Explore. Oh, you bastard, you're in for it now. I'm wise to your tricks. Explore, but I died. Explore these walls. Oh, shit, didn't need to do that. Okay, so right-click to save, I guess. Those walls weren't here last time. You can't just force me to go to the cabin. Lie. Yep, okay, heading to the cabin now, where I'm definitely going to slay that princess. I'm going with this one.
Tricks? What on earth are you talking about? We've just met for the first time.
There are infinite endings? Okay then, well, we're just going to, like, try and get the main endings then. Like, even with infinite endings, there's gotta be, like, a set number of branches before the differences get so irrationally small that it's not reasonably distinct. But anyways, we're just gonna see how many endings I stumble across on my own. And then, when I'm done stumbling across endings on my own, then I can, like, look at a guide to find the rest of the endings. But yeah, I came into this knowing that there's a lot of different endings and figuring that I would have to experiment, so I'm gonna stretch. Ooh, just popped something in my back. I probably need to exercise more or something.
If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. I don't know. I think it's more fun if he knows what
Voice
we're
of the
thinking.
contrarian.
He's like a captive audience. The entire world ending wasn't enough to get rid of us. I don't think there's much he can do other than object. I wonder what else we can do to ruin his day.
Okay, so this one's petty, which I appreciate, because I'm also a little petty.
If by ruining my day, you mean ruining everyone's day forever, then yes, I suppose there are plenty of ways you could pull that off. The world really did end last time, didn't it? We should be careful. For all we know, we just got lucky. The world hasn't ended yet, and you are never going to slay her with that attitude. Stuff those pathetic little voices to the back of your mind and stay focused on the task ahead.
Lie, yep, okay, heading to the cabin now, where I'm definitely going to slay the princess. Or these walls weren't here last time.
What are you talking about? I'm sure those walls have always been there. It makes sense if you think about it. If there weren't any walls in the woods, someone might have gotten lost. Or, heaven forbid, someone other than you might have stumbled onto the princess. You know I can tell when you're lying, right? Please take this seriously. I am begging you.
That just makes me want to do it even less.
A warning before you go any further.
Okay.
She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. If we're stuck going in there, maybe we should believe her. Maybe she isn't a liar. Ignore him. He's just being difficult for the sake of it.
Being difficult for the sake of it is kind of fun.
Let's keep an open mind.
Proceed into the cabin.
The cabin interior is wrong. A confusing patchwork of many cabin interiors, all projected across what's almost the same space. But it's all shifted.
Oh, there's a
An
boy
inch
been
here,
into
a foot
cabin.
there, such that the seams are never quite visible enough for the place to make any sense. The only furniture of note is a plain table, its legs all the wrong lengths. Its material devoid of feature.
Okay, I'm gonna stop moving my mouse around because that is
Perched on that
slightly, like, messing with my brain to...
blade.
Ah, my best friend, poorly drawn table. Poorly drawn table, my beloved.
The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right. If he wants us to take it, maybe we should just leave it to collect dust. Or better yet, grab it and throw it out the window. What good is a knife?
I
against the
kind of
world-ending
want to listen to the
monstrosity
contrarian
anyway?
here. Mostly because he seems petty and I empathize with that level
we're
of petty.
taking the knife. Have you seen this place? We have literally no idea what to expect and no idea what we're dealing with. I've already told you what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a princess. How many times do I have to explain this incredibly simple and straightforward premise?
Infinite times, probably. Assuming there really are infinite princesses.
You can't just say that. And when everything here is so wrong. Listen to me. My job is to describe facts as facts and to guide you through your job, which is to slay the princess and through that action, save the entire world. And if you're going to slay her, you cannot let fear creep into your heart. You cannot lose yourself before you even get to her.
Oh no, it's not fear. It is not fear. It is just pure spite.
You've piqued my interest. What's going to happen if we lose ourselves? Nothing, because you're going to pull yourself together. Just ignore the stressful geometry and stay calm. How? Even if we closed our eyes, you're constantly describing it to us. I'm not going to stop doing my job, so you're just going to have to get better at yours. And quickly, if you don't mind.
Okay, assuming that the cabin does change depending on the ending, which my guess would be that it does, because this is directly playing off the whole infinite cabins thing from the first chapter. I wonder, are we going to see each of these features on their own in their own individual endings? That would be interesting.
Yes, take a deep breath. I'm all for getting under his skin, but we'll miss out on loads of fun if we shrivel up into a ball and go insane the first time we see something weird. What you're seeing here is obviously real. Just accept it and go with the flow. It really isn't hard. Okay, I'm fine.
Oh, voice of the hero, I am very sorry, but I am going to continue to do
now,
everything in my power to just mess with stuff and see what happens.
Very important task.
Explore, you didn't say anything about the mirror. Explore, approach the mirror. Explore, take the blade, enter the basement.
We should look at ourselves. Wouldn't that be fun? You won't be looking at yourself because there isn't a mirror. There's the table, the blade sitting on the table, and the door to the basement. There's nothing else in here.
I mean, I figured the mirror was important based on the 2 dialogue options and only the one for the blade, but...
There's definitely a mirror. There isn't. You insisting it isn't there just makes me want to look at it even more.
Exactly. Why would you lie about that? What's the point? I also want to look at myself. I want to see how handsome I am. Doesn't matter, remain silent, approach the mirror.
Exactly. Why would I lie about something so meaningless? What good would a mirror even do? That you waste time preening yourself instead of doing what needs to be done.
See, now I want to see what happens.
You walk up to the wall next to the basement door. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here. This really isn't funny.
Oh, we don't have a reflection. Interesting.
You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall.
Okay, so we do have claws.
You look right now. But it was there a second ago. And now it's gone. You know that taking the mirror away from us isn't going to change things, right? We'll find it again, and then we'll see whatever it is that you don't want us to see.
He told us to take the blade. I am not taking the blade.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a web of branching staircases all built from unidentifiable materials.
Fun.
Nothing here seems to belong. And the
It's
closer you
giving
examine
like
your
a...
surroundings, the more confused you get. Your head throbbing with the effort of making sense of this
It's
place.
not,
None of the stairs even seem to go anywhere.
They're not really like proper fractals, but it sort of reminds me of the golden ratio almost.
The air here has a sickening, almost sludge-like miasma to it. The kind of indiscernible quality that comes from the blending together of every scent there is at once. An odor that is simultaneously everything and yet the sum of it all coalescing into a thick, nauseating nothing.
I have to click off the game window to check chat because otherwise my game window covers chat, and like every time I click off the game window, well, I can click off the game window or I can tab out, but like every time I tab out instead of like clicking off of it, it breaks my game capture.
If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice, a disquieting collage of tone and personality, drags up the stairs.
Hello? Hi. What are you doing here?
Ooh, she's red. She's got color.
No, thank you. Oh, don't be such a baby. I don't want to do this. Let's just turn around and leave. This feels wrong.
See,
This
I want to
feels
see the
like a
princess,
trap.
but I don't want to
But
kill
whatever
her.
we do, we're gonna die. We don't even have a weapon. But we already tried turning around and leaving, didn't we? And he threw up a wall. No way to go but forward. And whatever choice we make, whatever she is, we know one thing for sure. And what's that? That the fate of the world hinges on your success?
The princess's VA, Nicole Goodnight, is also a VTuber. Oh, cool. I might have to check her out at some
Plenty of
point.
ways to ruin his day.
There'll still be plenty of ways to ruin his day. Hearth stairs to the left, take the standing staircase, take the saw stairs to the right. I'm left-handed, so we're going left.
You step to the left. The path is cruel against your feet, the impact of each step sending pulsing vibrations up your legs until there's nothing left in them to feel. The air around you grows cold the further you progress.
Oh,
At
ice
first, a
stairs.
barely noticeable drop, quickly evolving into a numbing cold. Your toes feel like blocks of ice, your breaths puff out in clouds of condensed vapor. You shudder against it as you continue down the stairway.
I wonder if there's an
losing
ending for doing
yourself
nothing,
in
for
the
just
bone
refusing to make a
chill.
decision. I think that would probably take too long for me to explore today, because I don't know what the game's threshold is for, like, the amount of time you can go without making a decision before it, like, it reacts, but... So probably not going to check that out today, but it is still interesting.
You slowly lose sense of yourself the further you go.
Forest, cabin, indoors, stairs. Is the knife always on the table? Yes, it is.
Time disappears, and you can feel yourself begin to untether.
Oh, the table got even more
Visible
poorly drawn.
sensations dull and then vanish, until the only things experienced are the endless repeating patterns and emotions of the journey, a continuous march forward to a destination long forgotten. Consumption and betrayal, skepticism and blind devotion, rivalry and submission, terror and longing, pain and unfamiliarity. And at the heart of it all,
Oh.
an emotion that can only be described as
Are you just going to stand there?
Yes.
What?
Yes, I am.
what the hell was that? What happened to us?
Lovely, totally normal princess.
I feel so strange. Like I'm fundamentally different, but also still the same person I was at the top of the stairs. Oh well, that was a trip, but now it's over.
Time to get back to our old devilish ways.
The princess, eyes bright but otherwise shrouded in darkness, watches you impatiently from the other side of the basement. Don't forget why you're here.
I am here to mess with you,
why are
narrator
we here
dude.
again? In case you weren't listening, I'm afraid I lost myself on the way down.
Oh, I love the Contrarian.
You're here to... He's just being an ass. We remember. Though I'm still not sure if we should trust you. Let's talk to her for a bit, try and get our bearings. She seems normal.
I'm sorry I didn't realize I was here.
Yeah, I know. I've been watching you stare at me for a long, long time.
The shadows recede, revealing the princess's face. I don't think she likes us. Wouldn't you be skeptical of someone stumbling in here if you were her? We lost ourselves the second we stepped into this place. I don't know how long she's been here, but I can't imagine it would be easy for her to trust anyone.
Exactly.
Those eyes, though. They're so sharp. It's just deception. Don't buy into it. You can do this.
It's okay. Don't worry. Sometimes I get lost here too.
As the princess speaks again, it's almost as if she fractures. And where there was once just one of
Okay,
her,
so there are
there's
infinite
now
princesses. I think I somehow, like, managed to stumble into, like, a lore ending. Well, I'm assuming that all of the endings are relevant to the overall lore, but I think I somehow managed to stumble into, like a big, like, overarching lore ending on accident just by being an asshole.
We can do that? I don't like this. It's those cabins all over again. Can we put her back? You said you'd been here before, right? What exactly happened last time?
Well, I haven't been here before.
Does it matter? Yes, it matters. But I'm not going to waste any more time prying out details if you're going to be so irritating about it. It seems to me like you saw something you weren't supposed to have seen. If only you'd listened to whatever words of wisdom you were given in that other reality. But what's done is done, isn't it? Whatever you saw last time, unsee it. Whatever thoughts weaseled their way
Yeah, that's
into
not how
your
cosmic
head,
horror works, buddy.
unthink them.
You can't
It's
unsee
already
what
too
you've
late.
seen.
You have a job to do here, and you need to do it now. Oh, new plan. Let's see if we can make even more of her.
The Contrarian is sort of like exactly... Oh, ad break is starting. I'm gonna have to pause my gameplay for a minute while that plays. I swear it hasn't been an hour. I messed with my Twitch ad settings a little bit, so I changed it from me manually running ads to it should automatically run ads roughly every hour, but it's run two of them since I started streaming, and it's been less than an hour. So I'm not entirely sure how that works. Anyways, while I'm waiting for that to end. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Oh, ad break is finishing now. Excellent. Okay. I guess I can chill for the fury of a shattered mirror, which is an excellent Disco Elysium Slay the Princess fanfic in this time. I don't usually read a lot of fanfic. I mean, of course I'm familiar with its existence, but I don't usually read a lot of fanfic. Mostly because I generally dislike... A lot of times, like, the fandom characterization of some of my favorite characters is so far off from their actual characterization, whatever the piece of media happens to be, that I straight up avoid, like, fan comics or fanfic, because I just hate how that one character is interpreted by the fandom at large. Anyways, I should get back to the game. Nope. And also, I still haven't finished Disco Elysium. Maybe that's what I can play next, although I would have to find a way to get a copy without giving the developers, well, without giving the owners of the IP money. Because at this point, if you buy a copy of Disco Elysium, you're not actually giving anything to the original, to the creators behind the game, you're just giving it to the company. Which sucks. Explore, there's more of you now. Explore, what's your name? Explore, getting down here was weird. I'm getting you out of here, try and free her. I don't know what you are, but I can't trust you. I can't trust anything here, leave her in the basement. Retrieve the blade. Don't get to explore, there's more of you now.
What's that supposed to mean? Are you trying to get under my skin? There must be something wrong with you. I'm the same as I was a moment ago.
Oh, each of the different fractals can speak to me individually, because this one's the only one that's speaking.
She fractures again. I don't like where this is going.
I do, this is interesting.
Neither do I, which is why you need to slay her now before things get more complicated than they already are.
No, I don't think I will.
How would we even do that? Where would we start? We'd always start by retrieving the blade. Can we even leave this place? I don't like thinking about what might happen to us if we have to go back through those stairs. Well, that's where the blade is. If you want it, you'll have to go and get it.
I feel like the main character having an existential crisis is kind of par for the course in the games I play at this point. Like, have I played a game recently where the main character doesn't have at least one existential crisis? I don't think so. Maybe one of the demos I've played, but almost every game I've played recently, yeah, I think the main character has at least one existential crisis, or in the case of games like 1000 Times Resist, multiple existential crises, one after the other.
I don't think we're going to be able to put her back. Kind of hurts to think about it, doesn't it? It's like everything we say just multiplies her. It certainly looks that way, so please, for the love of everything, stop asking her questions and stop stalling. You're obviously just making things worse.
What if I want to make things worse?
You can address me as Your Royal Highness, or Her Majesty. Any honorific should do, really. You can call me Princess, if you'd like.
Typically, Your Majesty is, or well, Her Majesty is not a typical address for a princess. Royal Highness is typical for at least in terms of fantasy. I'm not sure how this applies to actual modern royal families, but as far as I'm aware, Your Majesty is usually reserved for the head of whoever the royal family is, so the king or queen or both. So, Her Majesty may not necessarily be the most accurate form of address, but you know what? I'm not an expert on this, so I'm gonna stop commenting on it.
Princess.
None of them have names. How astute. I told you she was untrustworthy.
Hey, not having a name doesn't make someone untrustworthy. Makes them perhaps slightly indecisive, but getting down here was weird.
What, like you need me to hold your hand and tell you everything's okay? You're not really cut out for this, are you? Why are you even here?
Because apparently I'm supposed to slay you.
We're probably stuck down here forever, aren't we? There's no way out.
Oh,
Barely
okay.
a way in. Sometimes I feel like I'm being pulled apart too. It's so terrifying down here. But at least now you're not alone. And I'm not alone either.
Okay, so in terms of princesses, we've got like confrontational here in the middle. We've got like really sort of sweet, maybe demure. I don't like the fact that the word demure became a meme because now it's sort of divorced from its original context, but I still think it applies. We've got like the super reserved one, and then you just kind of look depressed. She's got like, maybe it's just because she's upside down, but something about it makes it look like she has dark circles.
I don't remember what it was like before I was in this place. Why would I know what happened to you?
For all I know, you're locked down here for a reason.
Maybe it's because I'm dangerous. But you know, right? You have to know. You're the only other person I've ever seen. Or at least the only one I can remember.
Yeah, depressed is, I think,
Possible.
an adequate descriptor of that one.
End this already. One more. Oh, don't be coy. We both know why I'm locked away here. I'm a monster, and the second I get out of this place, I'm going to end the entire world.
Huh. Her arms are... Oh, they each have their hands in a different position. Interesting. I was going to say her arms are straight, and her hands are, well, like not properly together. This one has her hands clasped, wrists crossed, hands crossed, and then this one has one hand at her side.
This is reaching its breaking point. If you don't act now, there will be nothing in here but her. Take a deep breath and focus up. You can do this. But how do we decide what to do?
No, I want to see what
Can there
happens.
even be a right choice when all of them are so different? Stop overthinking it. Your drifting thoughts have clearly been part of the reason this situation has gotten out of hand. If you're trying to do the right thing, there's only ever been the one option, and that option is slaying her.
No, now I have several other options, as evidenced by the fact that picking any other option just continues to make things more interesting.
Just do something. Do anything. Do all of it, if that's what you want. This place is hell, and it's only getting worse.
I can't... Well, I only have the one option.
That's not right. Go on. You take a step forward. Your foot lands, but it lands different. You experience
Oh,
a
so
firm
now
footfall,
I'm
a
fracturing.
gentle tread, a confident stride.
Cool.
You can feel yourself rupture. The room spins, your perception multiplying in a sickening kaleidoscope as your very self is pulled in incomprehensibly many directions. You find the blade suddenly in your hands. All at once you use it to strike at her bindings as you remain upstairs and slay her and leave her to languish alone. Is this what the end of the world looks like? What an unbearable mess.
Oh, now my little pointer has the blade in it. And the blade has blood on it. Interesting.
But this... We can't... Do you not have anything witty to say?
You're looking a
Could
little
use bit
melty
of
there,
wit right
princess.
now. No, I don't, because this isn't fun. How are we supposed to have fun if everything is happening at the same time? It's the same as nothing happening, and nothing is excruciating. Luckily for all of us, nothing and everything doesn't go on forever. The world and the princess collapse in on themselves before it all falls apart. I think he's gone.
We were never going to salvage this, were we?
No, we were not.
What happened to us? What are we? There are parts of us that are dead, and others, they just don't fit.
The layered voices is cool.
We can feel them moving around in spaces they don't belong. It's all so uncomfortable.
Oh, her veins are like... Oh, the crowns are grafted together as well.
Did you do this? Did we do this? Can you pull us back apart? Fix us?
I don't know. No and no.
We should help her. I think we did this.
Lovely princess-shaped princess. I mean, I think we did this at some point, but also I think the narrator trying to force us to go to the cabin may have broken the laws of reality a little bit.
How surprisingly sincere. I didn't actually think our actions had consequences.
See, I knew my actions would have consequences. I just wanted to see what the consequences were. Now I feel kind of... Oh, shit, I hit my mic, sorry. Now I feel kind of bad about it, but at the same time, it's really interesting.
It's a little late for regret, isn't it?
Please.
It's going to be okay. I'll do my best. I don't think you're supposed to be fixed. No. You just destroyed everything. I'm not going to fix you. I'm gonna try and comfort her. Because, I mean, if I did this, the least I can do is try and take accountability for it. Oh, lots of arms. And then it was lots of elbows, and now it's just lots of nothing. But you don't know if she had the chance to hear your reply. She's gone, replaced with something else.
She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her? And there's that mirror again. Why is it here? Why now?
I don't know where she went, and I don't know how we even go about looking for her. The narrator's gone. I think I'm supposed to look at the mirror.
You're right. She's gone. It's just us and that awful thing.
Then what the hell are we supposed to do?
The narrator's
Yes.
gone.
Does that mean the world ended?
Well, clearly the world didn't end because I'm still here. Oh, shit. Apparently right-clicking will open the save menu.
Again, what the hell are we supposed to do?
There's something dreadful about it. I don't think you should.
I think it is probably going to, like, fracture my character in the same way that we just fractured the princess, but...
Don't do that.
I'm begging you, don't do this.
The mirror never scared
It's
you
different
before.
now. It feels, I don't know, final.
You approach the mirror. Silently, you reach forward. They're gone, or silence as you reach forward. They're gone, but the mirror remains. It's time for you to see what's in it. Jonathan Sims, VA for the narrators and the voices. He also stars in the Magnus Archives. I knew I had heard that name somewhere. Man, the Magnus Archives is another one on my list of things that I eventually have to, well, in this case, listen to. But I can't, like, listen to... My brain will not let me listen to a podcast unless I'm doing something with my hands. So I would have to find, like, I don't know, like a embroidery kit or something to do with my hands where I don't need, like, my full brain power. And then also listen to that. Because if it's something that I want to pay attention to the story to, usually I'd listen to, like, podcasts or video essay type things as I fall asleep. But if it's something that I need to pay attention to the story to, and with the Magnus Archives, I get the impression that I need to pay attention to the details. So I don't think I can listen to it while I'm trying to fall asleep, because then I'll miss parts of the story and I'll miss details. So it'll have to be while I'm doing something else with my hands, like, I don't know, folding laundry or something similar. Silence as you reach forward. They're gone, but the mirror remains. It's time for you to see what's in it. It's you. You are alone in a place that is empty. It is quiet here. Proceed to the cabin. I don't have a choice. Okay. Oh, there she is. That's a lot of hands. You are at the cabin. Approach her.
Something finds me in the long quiet and brings me the gift of a fragile vessel.
The gift of a fragile vessel?
Yes. Nerves and fibers to feel the worlds beyond. Perspectives to make my own. These ones are a contradiction. A winding kaleidoscope of paths and walls. They are stretched into a shape not unlike me, but it is a shape they cannot hold. I am sorry that you met this vessel so early in your journey, but they will make for a rich and vibrant heart. Do not mourn them, for they will finally get to know themselves.
Okay. This is definitely somehow significant to the greater lore of the game, and I somehow stumbled into a lore ending in my very first ending. Is this the end of the world? Let her out of there. Do you know the narrator? Are you what sent me to slay the princess? Are you what trapped me here? Do you know about the worlds beyond this place? Are you the princess? Do we know each other?
You are familiar, but you are not me. I feel sadness, longing, hope as I witness you.
Attack the entity or destroy your body. What happens now?
Nothing, as we are, but I know that there are worlds beyond us, and that we are meant to reach them.
Don't forget that this is a love story. Oh, yeah.
There is no exit, but this vessel is a creature of perception. She can make you forget, if only you believe her to be able to. Bring me more perspectives, so that I may be whole, and perhaps then we will know our freedom.
Aren't you scared that I'll find a way to kill you? How much will I forget? How many more pieces of you do I have to find? And what's if I don't let you do this to me? I was sent to slay the princess to stop her from destroying the world. If I help you, is that what you're going to do? How many more pieces of you do I have to find?
Found, but less than there are to find. I am infinite. The rest will find their own way home.
How much will I forget?
Everything. Until we meet again.
Aren't you scared that I'll find a way to kill you?
I have not lived. I am not afraid to die.
Okay, so there are definitely some cosmic horror aspects going on here. I mean, I figured by the increasing fractals of the princess and the spiral staircases, and apparently the increasing fractals of both the cabin and us, that we were going to be dealing with multiple universes overlaying. But yeah, definitely some cosmic horror elements going on here.
Then we will be here forever, as we are now. Unfinished, dry, hollow.
I'm not going back. Wait. Or okay, make me forget. I kind of want to know what happens if I wait.
If you need time, then I'll wait with you.
Wait forever?
You are as I am now, and forever is a long time to remain undone.
Okay, so I am also incomplete. In which case, as we discover more princesses, we should also be in the process of completing ourselves, I guess by discovering more voices.
I am not you, but I know that I would return before forever was finished. What textures will you weave for yourself to occupy forever? Will you place the images of you and I into a box for safekeeping? If you close that box, will you become another you in another world? An imaginary pattern repeating itself until it can no longer bear the weight of its hand-drawn cage?
Holy crap. Yeah, same, Pelican. I mean, it's
You'll always
fascinating,
come
but at the
back
same
to
time, there is a
past,
lot to process.
Because you'll always want to know what it means to be you. I will be here waiting by your side until you're ready to return to mine.
Oh, my game froze. Game crashed. I don't know if it was supposed to do that. I hope it was supposed to do that. Let's try this again. Gonna have to check my hardware monitoring to see what happens. I've been having tech issues with my computer recently, and specifically I think it's...
You have returned to me. Though you were gone mere moments, I never left your side.
Oh, here we go.
You ask of things that cannot be done. To destroy is merely to reshape, to remold.
I mean, that's one of the first laws of physics, is that matter can't be created or destroyed. You're being semantic. What are you going to do if I help you?
How can I know? I am flickers in something sprawling and unilluminated.
Well, don't have any other options, so... Okay, make me
She
forget.
asks that I tell you to remember her. You won't.
Yeah, but I will. Everything goes dark and you die. Oh, lovely. Chapter 1, The Hero and the Princess.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin.
I just got
And
an
in the basement
achievement
of
called
that
The Real
cabin
Slay the Princess
is
starts
a
here.
princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
No, you can skip previously seen dialogue by hitting tab on your keyboard or R1 on your controller. Do I get some side of
but you
reward
have to
for
slay
this?
her before you get it.
Can you tell me what my prize is going to be for doing a good job?
It's a secret, but I think you'll like it. It's a special reward, just for you. And whatever you think it might be, I can promise you it's going to be even better than your wildest imagination.
I'm not sure I want to give you what you want, narrator man. Okay, thanks for telling me what to do. Sweet, I've always wanted to off a monarch. Viva la revolution. Well, I guess, I'm going to pick the next funniest ending. Or the next funniest option.
That's the spirit.
Always wanted to off a monarch.
You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says.
We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them.
Alright, voice of the
Ignore
hero.
him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
So do you always start with the voice of the hero? Or do you... Can you get different voices, like initial voices, depending on what the options are? Because, I mean, when we started Chapter 2, we got the voice of the Contrarian, which I'm assuming directly corresponds to my choices. But the voice of the hero doesn't seem to be based on any choices I make. We seem to get that regardless. Maybe if I just stay silent, then I won't get a voice at all, but...
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
I'm not sure if I want to go aggressive for this one, or if I still want to go, sort of pacifist. You know what? I said I've always wanted to off a monarch, so I guess I'm going aggressive.
You take the blade from the table. It'd be rather difficult to slay the princess and save the world without it.
Into the basement. Okay, so
The
my
door
hand
to the
does have a
basement
blade in it
creaks
now.
open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice carries up the stairs.
Who's there?
It's me. Hi. I don't know what my name is, but
She sounds dangerous. It's almost as if she's the one in charge down here.
Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation.
hey, I think I'm here to kill you.
Oh, are you now? Why don't you come down and let me take a look at you?
Great job. You gave away the element of surprise. Good luck, hero. You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement.
I feel like the shackles are bigger now.
She's so coldly beautiful. Is she really a threat to the world?
Focus on the task at hand.
You weren't kidding when you said you were here to kill me.
What? No way. Why do you even think that?
That giant knife you're holding kind of gives it away, doesn't it?
Lovely. Supposed to be first meeting princess.
The blade. Of course she doesn't want to talk. Who'd want to have a conversation at knife point? We should drop it.
Don't you dare. It's fine. We can decide what we want to do after we talk to her. Maybe she really is a monster. But killing someone in cold blood isn't very becoming of us.
I mean, if I'm going aggressive, then I guess I'm going aggressive.
You ignore the trembling in your hands and tighten your grip on the blade.
You poor thing. Your hands are shaking. Are you scared of me? Because you should be.
You step forward, your grip on the blade tightening as you steel your resolve.
I'm probably chained up in this basement for a reason, right? And if that knife is the only weapon you have, you'll have to get close enough to use it. So, you should just drop it. Best not to risk finding out what I can do.
She's unarmed. If you hesitate now, it'll be too late. End this.
I'm not dropping the blade. Drop the blade. Slay the princess.
Doubt, unfortunately, clouds your thoughts as you attempt to run her through.
Oh, rip.
A moment of distraction and hesitation is all she needed to sidestep your thrust and deliver a catastrophic blow to your jaw.
Oh no, not my handsome face.
It feels like you've been hit with a sledgehammer. You can feel bone grinding on bone where your jaw has been fractured.
That's gonna
Holy
leave a
shit,
mark.
that hurts! Though she's unarmed, the shock of that first strike is enough to stagger you, putting you and the princess on somewhat equal footing. Your blade slashes through the air again and again, and her fists connect with your body as many times or more, each impact as heavy as that first bone-crushing hit.
We can still turn this around.
Okay, so I am about to not have a skeleton anymore, if that's true. Because if one punch is enough to break your jaw, then my skeleton is about to be a skeletoff. Give up, finish the job, flee and lock her. Finish the job.
You and the princess stare at each other, both gasping for breath, equally exhausted. You probably won't make it out of here alive, but you can at least make sure that she won't make it out of here, either.
Excuse me?
Do you think this is what I wanted to happen? I have a duty to state the facts of the situation, and honestly, it's a miracle anyone is still standing right now. Can you not feel all those ruptured organs bouncing around in there? If the princess doesn't do our friend in herself, internal bleeding is certain to finish the job.
Oh yay, all my bleeding's internal. That's where the blood's supposed to be.
The two of you clash for the final time. You feel your ribs break as she delivers a heavy blow, but you push
Ow.
through the pain, falling forward and sinking your blade deep into the princess's heart.
Oh.
The two of you fall to the floor.
This was fun.
The princess gasps, her voice an unhealthy rasp as her lungs start to fill with blood.
You put up more of a fight than I thought you would. But I have to wonder, do you really think this is the end?
Oh, definitely not.
But you don't have time to worry over such things. Everything goes dark, and you die.
Woo, we're dead. The adversary.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
I'm getting a terrible sense of deja vu. Explore. Okay, no. Explore, she's going to kill me again. But I already slew the princess. Sure, she also killed me, but I definitely got her. Why am I here again?
I can assure you that you didn't slay her and that she didn't kill you. People don't just spring back to life after dying, and the two of us are meeting for the very first time.
If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way.
You know I can hear you, right? It's going to be
Oh,
a
do
lot
I not have
harder
a
than
second
you think
voice?
to keep secrets from me. That's fine.
Oh,
It doesn't
voice of the
matter if you
stubborn.
hear us. The only thing that matters is marching up to that cabin and winning. That's the spirit.
Well, I
There's
am
no point in
definitely a little
squabbling
bit
when the real
stubborn,
threat is just
so...
up that hill.
Let's assume I'm telling the truth and all of this really did happen. Why should I listen to you? Why should I bother doing anything?
Those are two very different questions, but fine. I'll indulge you if that's what it takes to get you moving. Let's say for a moment that this really is the second time you've met me, or at least a version of me. You died last time, which probably only happened because you didn't listen to me.
We did our best with the information we were given, and we did kill her.
And yet you still died, didn't you? So congratulations. You've been given another chance to actually do this right.
And I believe your other question was something along the lines of, oh, what's the point of doing anything?
If you're asking that, it sounds to me like you're making the rather dangerous assumption that your actions last time around didn't have any consequences.
No, I'm assuming that my actions last time around did have consequences, and now I'm going into the situation significantly more underprepared than I was last time.
What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences. We killed the princess killed us, and now everyone's right back where they started. That sounds pretty consequence-free to me.
Okay, so this seems a lot more along the lines of like an intended first ending.
Yes, but
Well,
in this purely
An
hypothetical
intended
scenario,
first,
that begs the
second
question of
chapter?
how
First
we
chapter
got back
2?
here. Did
It's kind of an
time
oxymoron,
simply
first
rewind
chapter
itself,
2, but...
Or were you instead transported to a different world entirely? Had you failed to slay the princess, what would have happened to everyone in the place you left? Ugh, enough with the talking. We've got a fight to win. Nothing else matters. I couldn't agree more. The cabin and your destined confrontation with the princess awaits.
Let's talk
Just
about
be
the
quick
princess.
about it.
You killed each other the last time around. How can I make sure that doesn't happen again?
Like I said, if she killed you, it was probably because you didn't listen to me. Don't talk to her, don't trust her, just go in, do your job, and save the world.
All she did last time around was beat me to death.
She just can. Believe me, I wish I could tell you more, but you'll just have to trust that what I'm saying is true, and that, despite it all, you're fully up to the task that's been given to you. Oh, this is maddening. Why do you keep asking questions? There's nothing wrong with getting the full picture of what's going on here. Sure there is. It's wasting time and energy that would be better spent fighting.
You're being cagey.
I've told you everything you need to know. Going into more detail would just overcomplicate an otherwise very simple situation and make your job more difficult.
Oh. I'm getting a little tired.
What else would we even need to know? We've got all the reason we need for a rematch.
Exactly. The less you know about her, the better. Great. Now, if you don't mind, the whole world is waiting with bated breath for you to save it from ruin.
Proceed to the cabin, turn around and leave. I guess proceed to the cabin.
A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says.
Lying and cheating doesn't sound like her at all. Not that it matters. It's not like she can lie or cheat in the middle of a fight.
Are you sure about that? The point of my warning
You
wasn't
can
to start
definitely
an
cheat
argument
in a
over
fight,
what
assuming that the
circumstances
other
princess
person is
capable
believing that
of
you're going to
lying in.
fight, like,
It was
quote
to give
unquote,
you
honorably.
Some broadly applicable advice. The princess will do and say whatever she thinks it will take to get her out of there. So don't trust her. Ever. Are we clear?
Crystal. Let's just get on with it already.
Proceed into the cabin.
The cabin is tighter than its exterior would suggest.
Oh, we've got the
Its
mirror.
cold stone walls press in on you, as if trying to forcefully direct you towards your destination. The only furniture of note is a black iron altar with a pristine blade perched on its edge.
See? Even the cabin has the right idea. Let's get moving.
The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
What mirror? The mirror that's totally there.
Very different. Maybe that's because you haven't actually been here. I hope this means you'll finally drop that ridiculous past life nonsense. You haven't died, and you certainly haven't been killed by the princess.
Yeah, sure about that?
So focus up. The world is depending on you. You walk up to the wall next to the basement door.
It's a
It's a
wall.
wall. There isn't much to see here. What are you talking about? This isn't a wall. It's a mirror. Or at least it'll be a mirror once we wipe off that layer of grime.
Oh, Saribot, my beloved. Saribot automatically blocked the view bots I've been getting. I love when that happens. Well, not really a view bot, like the advertising bots that are like cheap viewers on insert suspicious link here.
You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now. But there was a mirror a second ago.
And now it's gone, so all of us can stop arguing about it and get to fighting.
You take the blade from the altar. It would be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon.
Alright, let's go fight the princess. I doubt we're going to actually slay her, but we are definitely
The
going
door
to
to the
fight her.
basement creaks open, revealing a rough stone staircase, its walls pressing at your sides and tightening as you descend. The air seeping from below is heavy and oppressive, with an almost sulfuric odor to it. If the princess lives here, slaying her would probably be doing her a favor. Her fierce voice carries up the stairs.
Is that another challenger? Finally. It's been ages since I've had a good fight.
I sat my water too close, or I put my water down too close to my computer and now it's hot. I was expecting nice cold water and instead I got like on the warm edge of lukewarm. Which,
This isn't what she sounded like last time. Her voice is a little deeper, almost threatening.
almost threatening? That was pretty
Good.
distinctly a threat.
Sounds like my kind of princess.
As much as I appreciate the enthusiasm, just make sure you don't let your bloodlust get to your head. You need to stay focused and keep your wits about you. Remember, you're here to slay the princess, not to have a good fight. As you descend the final step, the form of the princess comes into view.
Oh, she's got horns.
A
Cool.
large shackle leading from her wrist to the basement wall. Looks like she could rip those chains out of the wall without a second thought.
Oh, it's you again. I've been hoping you'd find your way back here. Good to see that death doesn't stick for either of us. And you brought your little knife, too. Yes.
The way she says and you brought your little knife feels like she's making a comment about the size of something else. As much as I hate to bring it up, because I try and keep my streams relatively, like, 16 plus without the, like, considering my tendency to curse, I can't really say it's, well, I can't really say it's 18 plus because I usually try and avoid, like sexual content, but considering my tendency to curse, it's not really family friendly either. So I feel like 16 plus is a happy medium, but yeah.
I'm going to have fun breaking you into little pieces.
Oh, 60-second ad break is starting. Okay, so, I'm gonna have to mess with my Twitch ad settings after this to try and get that fixed, because I feel like that's a lot of ads. And I feel kind of bad about it, because I know that most of y'all aren't subscribed to me. Non-critics of all cursing. You've got a point. I don't normally vibe with crude humor, but unfortunately I do curse quite a bit. Which I am slightly shy about, but not shy enough to stop doing it, so I got nothing. Going to have fun breaking you into little pieces. Okay, it would be very fun to try and do voice acting for the princess. It would be really, really fun to try and do voice acting for the princess, I think. The ad break is finishing now. Okay, good. Woo, now we can get back to the game. Going to have fun breaking you into little pieces. Hope you heard all that, Mr. Narrator. This is a lot different than last time. Last time definitely happened. Not saying I'm not here to fight, but I think the two of us have a few things to unpack first. Don't know what happened to you since the last time we met, but I am not fighting a giant demon lady. Bye.
Okay, fine. Let's say for a moment I believe you.
Cursing is fun, especially if you grew up not doing it. I mean, I technically wasn't allowed to curse, but a lot of my cursing I picked up from my mom. Did I get another bot? I don't think so. Okay, so I have Seribot on my channel now, and Seribot is basically like a moderation. It's a moderation tool, so what it'll do is it'll automatically ban, like, or it'll automatically ban and delete messages from ban evaders, known bots, that sort of thing. And it will also let me know when I get ads. The old message, oh yeah, I got another bot. And Seribot will, like, give you the ability to auto-block certain terms that are common in bot messages. So, for example, like the one it just blocked is cheap viewers. Which I'm hoping it'll help me a little bit with my bot issue so I don't have to be deleting bots from my chat several times every stream. Is the idea.
For all we know, whatever happened to you last time was just a fluke, and beyond that, do you know who doesn't remember anything that happened last time? Me. I don't remember what happened last time.
Honestly, that sounds like a you problem.
Are you okay?
Of course I'm not okay. As far as we're all concerned, the fate of my world is still very much on the line. Not all of us have the luxury of jumping over to a parallel universe the second we die.
Again, that seems like a you problem. So you do remember me.
Oh, I remember you all right. Best 3 minutes of my life. So, why don't we do it again?
See? She wants to fight us again. There's no reason for us to stand around talking.
I'm not saying I'm not here to fight, but I think the two of us have a few things to unpack first.
What is there to unpack? I was dead and now I'm not, and the same goes for you. There. Unpacking done.
Not really.
Don't you get it? We've been given free rein to wail on each other. Forever.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Okay, so this would be funny, but it's not This would be really funny, but it's not, like, in line with the route that I'm trying to achieve, so I'm gonna hold off on doing this, but... Attack the princess.
Finally ready to complete your destined task, you launch off the wet stone floor of the basement and catapult yourself headlong towards the princess. Here we go. Let's make this count.
Oh, we'll make it count, all right.
As you bridge the gap, your blade slashes across the princess's chest, splitting skin and drawing a jagged line of bright red blood.
The writing quote of all time is relevant here. Everything is a metaphor for sex, except for sex, which is a metaphor for power. Yep.
But she's unfazed by your onslaught. Her expression barely changes as her fist collides with your ribs, cracking them like twigs and driving you right back down to the basement floor.
That sounds like it hurts.
You can hear her chains snap as you struggle to recover from the impact. She almost looks disappointed in us. Why is she disappointed in us?
Oh, you don't actually get it, do you? That knife may be sharp, but you clearly don't want to kill me. It's not fun if you hesitate. It's not fun if you try to trick me and make me bleed out. It's only fun if you go straight for the heart. You need to put everything you have into seeing me dead. Or what's the point? So don't be afraid. Don't hesitate. Kill me.
Don't let her get in your head.
Did she get buffer?
Reincarnation or not, this world needs you to win.
I'm like 80% sure she's more muscular now than she was 10 seconds ago.
She's huge, but that probably means she's slower than us. Take it slow, think it through, and don't panic. Bleeding her out is our best course of action.
Don't listen to them. She understands something that they don't. The only way to win, the only way out of this is through her.
Bait an opening and outmaneuver her, strike at her hurt head on, run.
If that's your plan, then that's your plan. Push off the ground, ignoring the pain in your ribs as you charge at the princess once more. You can feel flesh give way before a sudden impact blunts your momentum, your weapon tightly lodged in the bone of her arm. She grins at you from behind her guard. Pull it out. We'll try a different angle.
No, we can do this. Just keep pushing.
I mean, if it's in her forearm, then the bones there are relatively weak compared to the bone in your upper arm, for example. But it's still not necessarily easy to break.
Our weapon's stuck in her arm. The princess's grin widens as the two of you push against each other, her fiery eyes and masochistic glee practically lighting up the dreary cave.
Yeah, this is definitely a metaphor for something.
Yes, you finally get it, don't you?
Lie, I do.
Nothing exists outside of us. It's just you and me, dying and coming back, clashing against each other. Forever.
That's not what's going on. There's an entire world at stake here.
Yes, the fate of the world doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is this fight. The only thing that matters is getting stronger. And the only way to get stronger is to win, even if it takes us forever to get there.
Your balance is suddenly thrown off as the princess pulls you into her knee.
Ow.
Collides with your ribs, and you feel them splinter, cracking like wet wood from the impact.
It seems kind of rude to break the same bone twice. Like, just a little bit overkill.
We're fine.
But you barely have enough time to notice before the princess follows up and smashes her forehead against yours.
That's a concussion.
Your grip loosens from the impact, the blade still wedged in her arm as you tumble to the cold
Oh, it
stone
went
floor.
through her arm.
I said we're fine.
I didn't say you weren't fine. I was just describing what happened. You might not have said as much, but you certainly implied it. It really doesn't matter. The princess glances down at the blade embedded in her arm, and with near total ignorance to pain, slides it out of its sinewy prison.
You forgot this.
She tosses it at your feet.
I swear she's taller and buffer than she was earlier. Aren't you jumping the gun a little here? We each said once that doesn't mean we're immortal. Don't you want to be free, though? Isn't there more to life than waking up chained in a basement and fighting to the death in an endless loop? Actually, I think I've done fighting you. I don't think this is healthy for either of us.
How much more proof do you need? Would it help to watch me rise from the dead with your own 2 eyes?
Ironically, fights to the death read more romantic and intimate than most romances to me. I mean, a lot of the time, the way fights to the death are written... Okay, so in fiction, in order to make a fight to the death have impact, the characters have to have some kind of relationship to each other. It might just be they met... It might just be, in this case, that they killed each other once and now they want to fight for eternity. But for something like a fight to the death to have an impact in fiction, that it has to actually... Then there has to be some reason to make the reader care. And so, in that case, I believe that fights to the death are more often than not written as either intimate or romantic because it emphasizes that relationship between the characters. And on the other hand, I usually just don't like most romances. I feel like a lot of romances seem forced. There are exceptions to the rule. There are romances that I have genuinely enjoyed, but more often than not, I feel like they're forced, and I don't see any reason why the characters would like each other. Well.
Fine. Go ahead. Stab me in the heart. See what happens.
The princess throws open her arms, exposing her chest. Is she really just going to let you slay her? Do it. Do it right now, before she changes her mind. Hold on. What if this is a trick? If she's leaving herself open like this, there's only one way we can strike at her. For all we know, she's 3 steps ahead of us.
Okay, based melody. Wait, what is that about? What specifically did I say that's based? Because I have, like, already forgotten most of the exact words I said.
3 steps ahead of us. Have you met her? This isn't a trick.
Oh no, she is several steps ahead of us. But I believe at least that I know what her motivation is. Fight to the death thing. Oh. It's why I can understand why most arch nemesis get shipped. I mean, yeah, it's part of the reason why enemies to lovers is such a popular trope, because in order to make good enemies, they have to know things about each other. They have to understand each other to be, like, well-written enemies with an interesting dynamic. They have to understand each other. So that's why enemies to lovers is such a popular trope, is because those are the two like relationships, at least in fiction, where the characters generally understand each other the most, or at the deepest level, is enemies and lovers.
And how would you know that? Because I wouldn't think to trick us, so why would she? That's a great point, so please stop hesitating and end this now.
Cut it out, will you? I'm not gonna take a cheap win like that.
The princess grins as her arms fall back to her sides.
Good. Enough talk. Let's fight.
Slay the princess.
You and the princess attack each other once again, each of you dealing a single, terrible, lethal blow. Wait, does that mean we're dead?
Dying.
Or
again.
rather, about to be dead. As your blade pierces her sternum, the princess buries her fist into the soft meat of your organs. You feel a few horrifically painful pops, a gush of fluid, and it's over.
Ew.
It's finally over.
Like Lex Luthor cloned Superman to beat the shit out of him while screaming, "You left me," after he died. Yeah. Yeah, it's... There's a reason that dynamic works. And there's a reason that, like, that arch nemesis dynamic works, and it's because they have to understand each other. It's because they understand each other. Which is, again, the same reason why most romances, most good romances work, is because they understand each other.
No, it's not.
We're just getting started.
But it is.
Oh boy, endless deaths.
Dead is dead. I know this isn't the happiest ending for you, but you saved the entire world from ruin. There are few better endings than that.
Well, are you going to listen to him? Or are you going to listen to me? Get up.
Get up.
Wait, no, that can't be right. Your eyes bolt open and you push yourself back to your feet. Alive.
Ah, I told you. I told you this wasn't over.
If I'm alive, then she's likely not dead either.
What about her? The blade went right through her heart.
What about her? If we're fine, then she's fine.
Although, if this is a metaphor for what I think it's a metaphor for, chances are she's dead.
No, she's dead. She has to be. No!
Oh, no, she's not dead.
Right. We're all shit out of luck, aren't we?
Well, I'm not out of luck yet, because I'm alive.
I knew it. I told you we should all believe in her. This is perfect.
The princess rises from the ground, staggering slightly, one hand wrapped around the hilt of the blade still buried in her heart.
We don't even need to start over anymore, do we? Let's go again.
I mean, if she doesn't need to worry about dying, then I guess there's nothing wrong with pulling the blade out, but at the same time, if you get stabbed with anything, don't pull whatever stabbed you out, because that is a way to get straight to blood loss. If you get stabbed with something, go to a doctor.
She pulls the weapon from her chest.
But also
barely
keep it
wincing.
in the wound,
Tells
assuming
it
that
to
you're not
feel.
worried about getting, like... Assuming that you're not necessarily worried about whatever stabbed you going deeper. Then don't expose it to open air if you don't have to.
You know what to do. Again.
But she came back. What's the point of fighting her if she can just do that?
The point is the fight.
All of you need to settle down. This whole situation is coming dangerously close to untethering. She clearly never actually died. You just missed her
Untethering.
heart, that's all.
Okay, so the connection is... I wonder if the connection to the very basic premise of you're a hero, slay the princess, has something to do with the stability of the like, the environment, the princess, and us. I mean, in entirely refusing to play the narrator's game, it fractured the world. I may be overthinking this, but I do wonder if, like, this mission, this sort of commitment to slay the princess, has something to do with, like, trapping us here, maybe?
Oh, we just missed her heart. Oh, of course, that's all. You were the one who said we hit her heart. You were the one who said it was finally over.
The point is the fight is going in my next Batman Joker analysis. I'll remember to credit you. Thanks, I guess.
Well, I guess I had it wrong. You guess you had it wrong? Aren't you supposed to know everything?
Yeah, the narrator ain't so omniscient.
I never said I knew
Yeah, say my thoughts exactly. Close to untethering. What's that supposed to mean?
nothing. It means nothing. I shouldn't have said that. But you did say it.
So it means something.
Oh, stop bickering over nothing. Our destiny is right in front of us. Pick up the blade and go to her.
Okay, fine. That is what I meant by untethering. Do you hear him rambling on about destiny? He's lost the thread, and if you lose the thread, you won't be able to save the world.
Hey, Mr. Narrator, dude, were you not just rambling about Destiny not that long ago? Oh, there's someone else in my YouTube chat. Jessica Star, hello. I don't have my YouTube chat, like, actively on screen. All I can have is my game window and my OBS, because I only have the one monitor. But... yes, hello, welcome. Sorry, I didn't notice your messages until earlier. Oh, and also, silly little crow guy, thank you for the follow. I don't trust the narrator. I don't trust the narrator either, although I think that's pretty obvious by the fact that my first choice in terms of endings was just straight up refusing to play along.
And what is that supposed to mean? I don't have to answer that, and I'm not going to answer that.
Huh. Okay, so he is cagey as hell.
Why the bloody hell not? Because right now, there's still a razor-thin chance that you're able to get your act together. There are patterns of thought out there that beg to be finished, but once you finish them, that's it. They change everything. There's no going back, and if I say anything else, you're going to finish one of those thoughts. What?
Huh. The princess can't die. You mean like the princess can't die, don't you? Well, it's too late for that. I think we've all thought that one. This is me trying to resist the urge to be a little bit snarky towards the narrator. Lie. The princess can die. I'm not going to say the princess can't die. I'm not even going to think it. The urge to be sarcastic is too strong.
Yes. Exactly. Like, the princess can't die. I tried, you know.
Okay, so the world is built on my perception.
To make this work. I don't like that resignation. Are you sure we can't just unthink it?
You can't unthink something that's been thought. That's not how thought works.
Yes. Like I said, I'm afraid some thoughts can't be unthought.
Oh, the narrator's
I'll be
agreeing
back.
with me. That means I'm
I'll go
doing
pour
something
myself
wrong.
A stiff drink.
This
If I'm
vessel
going
is
to
a
see the end
creature of
everything,
perception.
I'd rather not be sober.
Oh, yeah. I hadn't really put much stock into that line. I figured it was talking about how there's a million different ways to perceive the princess, and that particular... The one I brought to her, the... What was she called? The stranger? Was the process of having several different perceptions collide. But I guess it does make more sense when applied as a general rule. I'll be back in a moment. I'm going to pour myself a stiff drink. If I'm going to see the end of everything, I'd rather not be sober.
So I was right. Why are all of you so glum? This is perfect, isn't it? We get to experience greatness and battle and triumph forever.
But I think it was the stubborn one who said, your destiny awaits, right? No, hold on. There has to be another way. What if
I
we
mean,
just
in
leave her down
theory,
here?
if
What
she
we
is
run away?
busy
What if
fighting
we
me the whole
convince her
time,
not to
then
end
she
the world?
can't end the world because she's too busy fighting me? But I don't think that's going to convince either the narrator or the hero, assuming I can even say
I
it.
can't reason with her. Ending the world is her fundamental nature. It's not a decision she can flip on and off. It is her.
Huh. Okay.
And what exactly can't we leave her down here?
This whole conversation is like a switch on the theory part of like the theory crafting part of my brain, and it is going like 600 miles an hour.
Because all it would do is stall the inevitable. And what's wrong with stalling? Oh, there's plenty wrong with stalling. The end is still the end, and I'd rather face mine head on.
Okay, so you would rather face your end head on than you would stall, but at the same time you were begging me to prevent the end from happening. That doesn't quite track. Why can't you do it yourself?
You mopey ass. Why did you even ask us to slay her if it was going to end like this? Because it didn't have to end like this. If you don't mind, I'd rather not spend everyone's last moments arguing with you.
Hey, I mean, go get yourself that drink, man. We're gonna be here a
It's
while.
time. Yes, I suppose it is. If we fight her forever, then maybe she can't end the world. Maybe everything can still work out. I guess we'll just have to see how things play out.
Nah, I let the stubborn lead,
Don't
and now
you
I'm
get
facing
it?
the consequences
you don't have
of your
to shuffle
actions.
your feet. What comes next is going to last forever.
Join your adversary.
With an unbreakable determination, you snatch the blade from the floor.
Oh, I didn't notice until
stumble
now
back
that she
to
has
your
like
feet.
the vertical pupils.
Both
That's
you
cool.
and the princess quake with adrenaline as your eyes lock across the basement floor and share a knowing look. Free from hesitation, you close the distance, both you and the princess aiming to end each other. Your blade digs into her neck, grinding against her vertebrae as her fist connects with your body. The impact forces the air from your lungs, stars dancing in front of your eyes as you fail to keep your bearing. You both collapse to the ground before either of you has a chance to survey the damage. And then we get up.
Well,
Yes.
he really is
then you
nothing
get
if not
up.
stubborn.
That was a good one. More.
It's like the princess.
You and the princess exchange dozens of devastating blows. Sometimes you manage to strike first, and sometimes she tears through you before you have a chance to act. But more often than not, each of you fells the other in the same moment. And
Oh,
then
that
you
one's
get up
particularly
and do it
nasty.
again.
That one in the,
And
like,
again.
the second one from the
again.
bottom left.
And again.
That one's particularly
and
nasty.
Again. And again. We're all still here. This is all gonna be okay. Isn't it?
I mean, if you consider eternally killing each other okay, then yes.
Isn't it?
But he doesn't answer the voice. He'll never answer. He's gone. Alright, so the he is capitalized. Does that imply that the narrator's God? Because that doesn't seem quite right, because why would God have someone kill... Skin her face, ouch. Okay, so if the princess is the literal embodiment of the end of the world, and the narrator is God or a godlike figure, then why would God have me do his work for him?
What
Or
are you
maybe the
waiting
he is
for? I'm
talking
right
about the
here.
stubborn.
Do you think this is... What is this place?
Did we do this? Huh.
Yep.
I didn't think we had it in us. But I guess that stuck-up control freak was right.
I don't know everything, I just know what I know. Fair enough. I mean, I have plenty more to
It's
learn,
the
but
end
I
of the
can
world, isn't it?
I can
It's the
still
end of
theorize
everything.
based on what I do know. Although I do have a lot of questions, but this is more like... It's more the questions that my brain is already trying to answer, rather than asking the questions because I don't know the answer. If that makes any sense.
Far from
I mean,
it.
obviously I don't know which one is
Still
right or
here.
if there is a right answer at all, but
She's
by the time I
still
ask the
it.
question, my brain's usually like a couple steps ahead coming up with solutions. The princess stumbles and her body slumps.
I feel so... tired.
Oh, and there's the hands again. She has a... That was a quote from the narrator, if I'm remembering. You don't get the chance to respond, nor will you ever. It's time to leave. Memory returns.
She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her? And there's that mirror again. Why is it here? Why now?
Of course you're scared. This is the end for you, but it's not the end for me. Okay, so just as the princess... Okay, so the princess resets and the voices reset. The voices don't remember. Well, and the narrator, obviously, but I think he's... If the princess and I are the same, not necessarily the same entity, but in the same state, like we're fractured, and we need to collect different versions of ourselves that make different choices to become whole again, then I guess it would track that the voices forget as well. But we, like, at the base... Well, I'm assuming we, the player, but there's also likely a separate entity that we, the player, are just sort of standing in for. Like how there's, like, the hand thing that's sort of collecting the princesses. I'm assuming there's a version of us that is an analog to that. So I wonder if that version of us remembers, and it's just, like, the voices and the version of us who makes the decisions who forgets. Or if the entire entity, like all the pieces of the entity, forgets as well. It's going to be okay, just trust me, we've been here before and you always get scared. Of course you're scared. This is the end for you, but it's not the end for me.
What is that supposed to mean? Whatever awful thing I felt before, it feels so much worse now. Screw that. This can't be the end. It just can't.
Approach the mirror. You approach the mirror. Gaze into your reflection. Silence as you reach forward. They're gone once again. The mirror always makes them leave, but you need to see what's in it. You've grown. Okay, so we are an analog to... Han's wife said you'll forget everything until you come back to her. I was gonna say, I don't want to call her the princess, because the princess, just like we are obviously more than just the hero, she is obviously more than just the princess. Like, she is the princess, she's the stranger, she's the adversary, just as we are the hero and the stubborn and the contrarian. So yes, as much as we are helping her complete herself, or maybe return to herself, because if there is a base that exists that's devoid of all of the different personalities I'm assuming we'll encounter, then it's probably returning to completeness rather than necessarily completing her, because completing her implies that she's never been complete. So I guess returning her to her former glory? But in the process of returning her to her former glory, we are also returning ourselves to completeness. Man, this is making me philosophical. You find yourself in the long quiet once again. Proceed to the cabin. But yes, Han's wife is an excellent nickname for her, I think. You're at the cabin. I mean, it told us this in the beginning, that after all, this is a love story, so... Approach her.
Flickering lights and empty cityscapes become pockets of vitality and movement. I am more than I was before. Whenever you are ready, I will wipe your slate clean once again.
Are you the same being as you were before? How much have you changed?
Is a child the same as an infant? I am an unbroken pattern, but every vessel gives fresh perspectives and carves new avenues of expression. I am different, but I am the same.
Everything you say feels like a riddle. Can you give me a single straight answer? That is going to be a no, because I don't think she's capable of giving a straight answer. What does it feel like to change like this? When I go back, it's as if an invisible wall closes around me. Why can I not do the same things I've done before?
Those paths lead to worlds you've already seen, and to perspectives I have already made my own. They are useless to us now, inaccessible. The only paths of value are those that are yet untread.
Alright, so if she is absorbing these differing perspectives of herself, then we're absorbing the different versions of ourselves as well. But it's interesting that she says worlds you've already seen. Like, she's not necessarily aware that we are growing in the same way she is. I mean, she said that we are as she is, which I'm assuming to mean incomplete. I mean, I guess I can figure that out by asking, what does it feel like to change like this?
Eyes close in reflection. Perspectives meld together, and the breadth of my experience stretches to new corners. There are contradictions, conflicts in my nature, and there are familiarities that bind everything together. It feels correct. This is what I need to be. This is the only path forward.
There's something kind of poetic about the idea of the only path forward being to embrace your contradictions. You have been kinder to me than anyone else I've met. Thank you. You've been kinder to me than anyone else I've met. Why? I'm just going to thank her.
Why wouldn't I be kind to you? You are the only thing I know that isn't me.
Interesting. So... that implies a couple of things. Again, this is the theory part of my brain going insane. This might be completely off base and I'm going to get proven wrong. But that implies two things. Well, and the second thing is a consequence of the first thing. That implies that either there is nothing but her and me, or her and I. I'm not sure what the grammatically correct way to say that is. I think her and I is the right way. But it also implies that everything is either part of her or part of me, like we're two sides of the same coin. Or maybe like two halves of the same whole, maybe? It would make sense that as I work to complete her, I also complete myself, but... And if she is the end of if she's the end of the world, does that mean that we are, like, if she represents endings, does that mean that we represent beginnings? Again, that is the theory part of my brain. I have no clue if I'm right or not. Chances are I'm probably horrifically off base. But... do you have any thoughts on this vessel?
This one yearns to grow and struggle. Even now, I feel a will pushing against mine, not realizing that we are one. She will make for a bold heart. Do not mourn her. We will provide her with the growth she fought for.
I don't want to hurt you, but the more times I go back, the worse I fear things will be.
The vessels are shaped by memories of you, but they are drawn to the edge of the long quiet. To them you are a gate to something more. But they are only thoughts and perspectives. They are not me. The wounds they've suffered carve texture around my heart. Without them, I would be as I was before. I would be alone and without sensation. I could not feel the joy of having you by my side, for I would not know your absence.
Oh, I messed up in my YouTube chat. There are indeed answers, but no spoilers. Best to say is the game's title screen. No wrong choices, no wrong decisions. This is a love story. It's best to let your mind run wild, even in multiple playthroughs. Kind of, sort of, I suppose. There's also the narrator third party in all of this. It's interesting, even when 100% still new ideas and good points. Okay. So, I mean, I'm gonna have to play more to find out, so. Could not feel the joy of having you by my side, for I would not know your absence. Again, that very heavily reflects, like, this theming of beginnings and endings. But at the same time, it feels more to me like sort of life and, well, not necessarily death, because death implies something active, but like the state of not living. Like, this reminds me... I don't know what poem it is, but this reminds me of something I've read. I'm assuming it's a poem because it's a very poetic sentiment. Of this idea that without death, you can't properly realize the gravity of life. Because without death, you would never know what it is to not have life. I'm ready to go back, I guess.
I will long for your return, but it will give me time to reflect on what I am. We will meet again.
Sound effect jump scared me a little bit. Chapter 1, The Hero and the Princess.
You're on a path.
Alright, assuming that it's not super long, I should have time for
path
one more.
Is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her.
Okay, I'm gonna try something this time. I'm going to try silence.
You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty.
60-second ad break
and the floor
again.
and walls are painted.
Yeah,
in
I'm
a
gonna need to
fine
mess with my
layer
Twitch
of
ad
dust.
settings. This is, I feel
The
like,
only
is
furniture of
longer
note
than it.
is a plain wooden table.
This, I feel like, is
Perched
more
on that
ads than I
table
thought I
is a
had.
pristine blade.
So the thing about the ads on Twitch is it's you can either set it to have them manually triggered by you, or I guess a mod if you have a mod who's able to keep an eye on the time and trigger them. Or you can set it to trigger X length of ads every however long. So the issue with having them manually is I get absorbed in the game and then I forgot to trigger them, which means that anyone new who stops by gets pre-roll ads. And I don't want people who are stopping by to get pre-roll ads because a lot of the time it just makes them go, never mind, I'm not watching this at all. And so I don't want people's first impression of me to just be an ad. But at the same time, now that I've set them to run manually, I feel like they're running a lot. And it prevents pre-rolls, but at the same time, I feel like it's a lot. Maybe I can set it to a lower consistency. They are. The ads are a lot. Sorry. I'm going to try and fix it after stream. But I blame Twitch, not you. Yeah, I'm trying to make my streams better. I'm trying to make them more interactive, more engaging type of thing. But I don't really know how to do that, so it's going to be a lot of trial and error.
The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Alright, so I have two possible paths here. Even if I'm maintaining silence, I still only have two options. I still have a choice to make here, which is take the blade or not take the blade. In this case, I'm actively choosing not to have any explore
The door
dialogue
to the
options.
basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. Her voice softly carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
Okay, so she already changes based on whether or not we take the blade.
It's
I'm
hypnotizing.
assuming.
It's the kind of voice you only have to hear once to remember it for the rest of your life. Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation. You're playing a dangerous game by coming here unarmed.
Twitch ads. I always wondered if they could be controlled so they could be manually pushed, but yeah, only stuck on the YouTube side. Yeah, I mean, I try and stream to both Twitch and YouTube, but it's an odd setup. So I have to be aware of both the ads on the Twitch side and everything happening on the YouTube side. But yes, Twitch ads can be controlled so they can be manually pushed. But it is... If you have it set to manually, then your pre-roll are basically automatically enabled. Versus if you have it... So if you have it set to manual, then your pre-roll ads, so the ads that you have when you're... Or, the ads when you join a stream are automatically turned on. If you have it set to automatic, then it'll play it with whatever frequency it needs to disable pre-roll. You can set it to play more frequently or less frequently, but I tried to set it to the minimum to disable pre-roll ads, and it didn't. It's now playing really often, so I might just switch it back to manual. It's all part of the manipulation. You're playing a dangerous game by coming here unarmed. Okay. Continue down the stairs.
You're still listening to reason. It would be better if you had a weapon, but you may still be able to do what needs to be done.
I still have not figured out how to combine the
Walk down
chats
the
on my
stairs
screen.
and
So right
lock
now the only
eyes with
chat
the
messages that
princess.
show up like in the
There's a
video
heavy
are
chain
my
around
Twitch
her wrist,
chat messages.
binding her to
But-
the far wall of the basement.
She looks sort of almost like a sad wet cat. Like, y'all know what I'm talking about? Like when a cat falls in the water and then like it gets out and it just sort of stares at you like, why would you do this to me? You're so cruel.
She's beautiful. How could someone like this be a threat to anyone? I am begging you to stay focused. There's a lot riding on you here.
Hi. Do you think you can get me out of these chains?
Oh, I can't just pick silence. Rip. In that case, if the path I took last time was to be as aggressive as possible, this time I'm going to be as, not necessarily passive, but as non-aggressive as possible.
You're only making this more difficult.
Thank you.
Man, her
Thank
eyes
you.
are like 3/4 of her face. And I mean, I know that I have like an anime girl avatar, so I don't have any right to comment on that, but damn. Like when it's in an art style that's distinctly non-anime, it strikes you a lot more, I feel like.
You're making a huge mistake. No, you're doing the right thing. You walk up to the chains binding the princess to the wall and give them a tug. They're large and heavy, far too solid for you to even imagine trying to break them apart.
I'm guessing you don't have the key?
Maybe it's somewhere upstairs. Doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here intended for her to never see the light of day. They wouldn't have just left the key to her chains somewhere in the cabinet.
Okay. I'll be here. Good luck.
You attempt to make your way out of the basement, but the door at the top of the stairs slams shut. You hear the click of a lock
Another
sliding
thing, all the art in this game was hand-drawn with pencil. Oh, cool. I didn't know if it was like, I mean, I figured it was all hand-drawn. It doesn't look like it's made using texture packs or anything like that. But I didn't know if it was like, if it was all hand-drawn or if it was like drawn digitally and then like the assets were edited on top of each other.
Is someone else here?
But honestly, with the layers, with the way the layers move when I move my mouse around in the game, I wouldn't be surprised if they're all individually drawn layers and each still is its own individually drawn scene.
You try the door, but it's locked from the outside. You make your way to the bottom of the stairs. This would have been so much easier if you'd just taken the blade like you were supposed to.
Mr. Narrator, I know you're forgetting every time, but I don't love being told what to do.
Easier for whom? Easier for everyone. Look at the mess you're in.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too, didn't they?
There's a slight panic rising in the princess's voice.
If I could just get out of these chains, I know we could force our way out of here together.
She barely hesitates
Ooh.
before raising her arm to her mouth, her teeth
I was not
tearing
expecting that.
through her limb with the determination of a trapped wolf.
Ouch.
As she rips her flesh from her bone, a sound comes from behind you, the clang of bouncing metal. It's the blade from upstairs. You're not sure how it made its way down here, but if there's a time to strike, it's now. Or we could use it to free her. You won't like what happens if you do that.
I'm gonna save the princess.
Fine. Against your better judgment, you place the blade against the ragged, self-inflicted wound on the princess's arm, just above the unyielding chain binding her to this place. You cut into her flesh.
Ouch.
The blade is sharp, and it takes little effort to crack through the bone of her arm. Her limb falls to the ground, and the heavy chains follow suit. She didn't so much as utter a sound through the whole ordeal. No, she didn't. She smiles softly as her gaze meets yours, blood from her wounded
still got
arm
blood on her
dripping
mouth.
rhythmically to the ground. How is she still smiling after everything? It's like she isn't even bothered by what just happened.
Thank you.
Now let's get out of here.
No, we won't have any of that. The stakes are too high. You can't just let her escape into the world. No, I can't just let her escape into the world. As the princess approaches the bottom stair, your body steps forward and raises the blade.
Rude. That's not very nice of you, narrator. I thought I was supposed to have autonomy, man.
Wait, this isn't fair. You can't just
Is
do
the
that.
whole point of a visual novel that you make the choices?
Watch me.
What are you doing?
Stop that.
No.
Something's come over you, hasn't it? You know you don't have to do this, right?
Your body lunges forward, the blade held low, ready to sink into her heart.
I am not letting him make me kill anyone. Just super chill, super casual biting off her own arm.
But the princess dodges, stumbling back against the wall before the blade has a chance to connect. Stop it. Stop trying to resist me. I'm trying to get you out of here alive.
If I want to get out of here alive, I can get myself out of here alive, thank you. Resist.
The blade. Move the blade.
You don't get to tell me to do shit.
As your body remains frozen in stubborn resistance, the princess takes a cautious step forward.
We both know this isn't you.
She nervously reaches towards you and takes the blade from your infuriatingly rigid hands. What are you doing?
I am pretty sure her eyes just keep getting bigger. It's like the demon lady, how she just kept getting like taller and buffer. I am pretty sure her eyes just keep getting bigger.
I'm sorry. I'll try to be quick.
She plunges it into your chest, tearing through flesh and sinew. It is agony. But you aren't dead yet.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Stay strong. We can tough it out until it's done. For her sake. For her sake? Don't you start pretending that dying a painful death is some sort of heroic gesture. The two of you have literally doomed everyone. Whatever. She sinks the blade into your chest again and again and again, and you feel every inch of burning pain that slices its way into your body.
I'm sorry.
Yes, the artwork, animation was all done by one person and one music composer who won an award for 2024. Indie games winning awards, I'm glad to see it. I'm always glad to see indie games getting the attention that they deserve. It's really nice to see. I think, well, I mean, a big part of the purpose of me having this channel is to bring a spotlight to indie games that have gotten overlooked compared to bigger AAA titles, so.
She doesn't know how to use a knife, does she? Apparently not, though it doesn't matter how sloppy her blade work is, does it? A stab wound is still a stab wound, and it won't be long before you bleed out.
I'm so sorry.
With one last thrust of the knife,
Your legs give out beneath you. You collapse to the floor, your blood pooling around you, your limbs unresponsive. The princess stares down at your ruined chest as tears carve rivulets of pink down her blood-spattered cheeks. It can't just end like this, right? Oh, that's rich coming from you. As much as I'd prefer for things to have gone differently, I can't deny
Yeah,
the
her eyes
reality
are
of what's
definitely
happened.
bigger now.
The two of you made your choice. It's over. Everything goes dark, and you die.
Chapter 2, The Damsel. I mean, at the end of Chapter
You're
1,
on
she
a
was certainly in
path
distress.
In the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement, you're here to
Okay, proceed to the cabin, I guess.
a warning before she will lie. If only you knew what you did to us, you villain. Excuse me? Forget he said anything.
Of course, he's a little bit overdramatic.
But he is a villain. He made our
Our
beloved brutally take our life last time. He's trying to keep us apart, but he won't be able to withstand the power of our love.
He's so dramatic.
Last time? What are you talking about? I think he just likes to hear the sound of his own voice. Let's try to ignore him. I do. But
I also speak from the heart.
My passions are too great to be stifled. They must be expressed. Sure, yeah, your passions are strong and all, but not everyone needs to hear them. Some things are better kept quiet.
Smitty, my beloved, derogatory. And yeah, indie games can be underrated, but the heart and time and talent, wish Fenimore could see it too. Yeah.
Don't pay their bickering any mind.
There's so
Focus
much,
on
like,
the task ahead.
I don't really know what the right word is, but for some reason I want to say spirit that goes into indie games that I feel like especially recently, so many of the AAA games I play or I see other people play just feel sort of soulless isn't right because I believe that all games have some soul behind them. But they just feel sort of like the emotion behind them and the heart behind them sort of pales in comparison to a lot more of the indie titles I've been playing recently. Don't pay their bickering any mind, focus on the task ahead. Proceed into the cabin.
The interior of the cabin is clean and elegant, its stone walls draped in fine threaded tapestries, a prison befitting a royal prison. The only furniture of note is an ornate wooden table with a pristine blade perched on its edge.
So, that first ending I got, there were like, when it had it was listing traits. Game audio's real low suddenly. Huh. Okay, it should be better now. I don't know why that happened, but it looks, I might have bumped something with my mouse, or I might have bumped something, but for some reason the game audio meter was all of a sudden, like, turned way down. I was going to say, that first ending I got, when they were listing traits, it had, like, pairs of... not necessarily staircases, like, okay, so I went down the stairs, and the stairs turned into ice, and then they were listing, like, pairs of, like, curves? Like, I don't really know if... They might have been staircases, but I don't know if they were supposed to be staircases. And they were, like, what, six pairs? 7 pairs? My guess is we won't be able to interact with the mirror until we have all 7 pairs of endings. All 6 or 7 pairs. After I see this next ending, I should be able to go and, like, ask the Han's wife, I guess, I think that's what you called her, is Han's wife, how many versions of her I have yet to find, and that should help me figure it out.
The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
I'm not taking the blade.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing an intricate stairwell. Gold-trimmed carpet glimmers in the light of the torches positioned along the walls. The basement almost seems welcoming in the dim firelight. But it's still a stone basement. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. A soft voice carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
Her voice. It's somehow even more beautiful than last time. I think we're in love.
Yeah, think you're in love? Yeah, volume got really low, but Stranger, if she was the first, she didn't have a perspective. She was everything at once, yet nothing at all. Dev's favorite princess, by not making a choice. Was making a choice. Yeah, I mean, okay, so my first thought was, of course, when I first figured out that I could just turn around and refuse to play the narrator's game, I did. And then that was its own story branch. I wasn't really expecting it to be its own story branch, but so Stranger was the first ending I got, so I didn't really have any, perspective on what the rest of the game would be like yet. But, when we were going down the staircase in Stranger's chapter, they showed, several different pairs of staircases, each with a different appearance. And I'm assuming that they're pairs of endings that are meant to be opposites of each other. So, in this case, I would guess probably this damsel ending is probably the opposite of the adversary. So I don't remember how many pairs there were. I think there were 6 or 7 pairs of endings. And my guess is that once we've completed each of the 6 or 7 pairs, then we'll be able to interact with the mirror in chapter 2. Would be my guess. Oh, thank you for the hydrate. Dear, sweet, lovely, so nice and beautiful Hans wife is her full name, yes. What did I do with my water? There's my water. Yes, but honestly, that's kind of a lot to remember, so I think I'm just gonna call her Hans wife until we have a better name for her.
Okay, I'm with you that we should be doing whatever we can to save her, but saying we're in love is a bit much, don't you think? We don't even know the princess. We can still do right by her without all this fawning. Yes, for everyone's sake, you're not in love. Just remember that her charms are all part of the manipulation. You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall.
Oh my god, she's somehow even more sad wet cat of a human. Actually, she's probably not exactly human considering the whole nature of everything that's happened in this game, but even then, she is even more like a sad wet cat of a person than she was before.
My love, we're here to rescue you from your
unjust and foul imprisonment. There's no bars on the window now either. That's interesting.
You know she can't hear you, right? She may not be able to hear my words.
He's so
but
dramatic.
Surely she can hear my spirit. Oh, your spirit's plenty loud, all right.
It's you, my dashing hero. I was so worried you wouldn't come back.
Did you hear that? She said we're dashing. And she called us a hero.
Oh, now even the voice of the hero is falling for her.
Flattery really goes a long way with the two of you, doesn't it? Waiting for you to come back. You've been here before, haven't you?
How many
That's
times
right,
have we...
villain. And you killed us. Well, she killed us. Only because he made us try and kill her. It was self-defense. Our beloved's hands remain unstained by cruelty. And you've died before. So an entire world has been damned to oblivion. I'd really hoped I'd be the first, but what's done is done. What matters is you have a chance
I'd
to do
really
it
hoped
right
I'd
this
be the
time.
first. Okay. So as much as he claims to not remember, anything that's happened before, he's aware of the nature of the parallel. I don't really know if like parallel universes is the right way to phrase it, but he's aware of all the different dimensions of the princess and all the different ways this can go. And he's aware that it may have happened before. Although he was not previously aware that it had, he was not previously like concrete sure that it had happened before, but he was aware of the possibility, which is interesting.
We damned a whole world, but everything reset. Nothing resets, you're just somewhere else. You can't keep hopping between worlds forever, especially not without leaving a trail of incomprehensible devastation behind you. This is horrible.
You killed me last time and it hurt a lot. Why did you do that? I didn't bring a knife. Do I have to cut you out again? What happened after I died? I have to ask, did you end the world after you killed me back there? I'm sorry about what happened last time. The narrator who sent me here to kill you took over my body. It was extremely unfair.
If another version of me was pushed to such drastic action, it was for good reason.
That's okay. You were just doing your best, and that's all that matters.
Okay, I missed stuff in YouTube chat again. The branching past, the narrator, terror and longing, rivalry and submission, blind devotion and unfamiliarity. It ties, but damsel is the opposite of stranger. Known and unknown, I suppose, but blind devotion versus unfamiliar. Just a theory. Based on the past after staircases of stranger, the linking past. Harsh, center, soft. Yeah. I'm going to want to go back and like rewatch the stranger ending for some clarity on the lore bits of it. But I think it's likely that after I finish the game properly, I will have more clarity on it. So I'll probably wait for that. I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm going to let it sort of play out as it naturally does without trying to go for, like, the endings that I believe are the most relevant to the lore. Although I still, I'm fighting against my brain's urge to approach this as a puzzle rather than as a story. So I'm just gonna try and take it as naturally as I can, and then if I get lore, I get lore. If not, I guess I can just theorize.
She took that in stride, to a surprising extent. An almost unsettling extent, actually. That's because she's perfect. Do you think she has someone like him telling her what to do? She doesn't. There's no one else like me. I think he's right, because I like it better if she doesn't have some horrid little voice like him, always trying to drive her to violence.
I didn't bring a knife.
I'm okay with whatever you come up with. You can cut my arm off again.
Yeah, that ain't right.
We won't be laying a finger on her perfect wrists, and indeed, we won't even have to. Do you see how dainty her hands are? We'll be able to slip her right out with no harm done. What? No, she's a prisoner here. You can't just slip her hand through the chains. Why are you two arguing over the logistics of slipping her hand out of her shackles? She just said she'd be okay with any idea we came up with. Am I the only one here who thinks that's weird?
Is Hero the only rational one?
She didn't care last time. Why should she care this time? That's our stoic, smiling angel. No, you're right. It's extremely bizarre behavior and further evidence that she's a monster who's not to be trusted. So go ahead and slay her. No, I can't let you do that. If you take another step towards the princess, I'll... You'll what? Take over our body
You
and
take
force
over
us
me
to try
again and I
kill
am
her?
literally just gonna fight you again. You don't tell me what to do.
I would if you had a weapon. Not on my watch, villain. My passions contain titanic depths, and if you try
So
anything
dramatic.
that might harm our dearest, I will end our life without a second thought.
This seems like this is the kind of game that would be really fun to voice act for, because you get to experiment with so many different personalities.
You wouldn't. I would.
Like, difficult for sure. Any role with this much complexity would be difficult, but like getting to do, on one hand, to be able to be the voice of the contrarian and just be a total asshole to the narrator, and on the other hand, to get to be the smitten, to get to be the voice of the smitten and get to be so like over dramatic and like the hero in a Shakespearean comedy or something. Like, he's very... He's very, like, what's the monologue from Romeo and Juliet? Romeo's monologue. All I can think of is all I can remember, like, the exact wording of is Juliet's part, but like the scene on the balcony with the oh Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo, and the a rose by any other name would still smell as sweet, or would smell as sweet. I'm not sure what the exact wording is because I can't remember Romeo's part. I can only remember Juliet's part. But he's very like over dramatic and
I'd listen to him if I were you. He has a lot of strong feelings. And doesn't the world end if we don't stop her? You approach the princess and gingerly slide her hand from her bindings. That shouldn't have worked. I'll be damned. We're doomed. I can't believe it. But I guess I have to.
it's something about the sun in the east and Juliet is the sun. Give me a second, I want to look it up. But soft, what light through yonder window breaks is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief. And it goes on for a lot longer than that, but yeah, it's basically saying that, like, when Juliet appears in the window, it is as if the sun has risen on... It is as if the sun has risen on me. Although phrased much more poetically than I did.
I told you, there's no life more worth living than that of a true believer.
I'm free, and you're not trying to kill me this time. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Have you seen the Leonardo DiCaprio Romeo and Juliet movie? I have. Oh, bye, Pelican. See you later. I have seen the Leonardo DiCaprio Romeo and Juliet movie, although honestly, I prefer the older one. Keep in mind, I was a theater kid, so of course we studied Shakespeare, we studied Romeo and Juliet. Although I never actually performed Romeo and Juliet more than a read-through in English class. But I was a theater kid, we studied Shakespeare, we performed, oh, what is it called? Oh, I can't think of the name. Twelfth Night. We performed Twelfth Night. That was really fun to build. So when I was in theater, if I wasn't acting, I did set design and costume design. And that one was really fun to build a set for because we did it as theater in the round, which basically meant we built bleachers on stage and then so theater in the round means that the stage is at the center and the audience surrounds the stage in all directions. Love that movie. Get me my longsword. Insert shot of shotgun labeled longsword. That's fair. I think it's a good movie, but if I'm looking for Shakespeare, then I want it to be Shakespeare. if that makes any sense. Like, I want it to be performed as it was meant to be performed. But anyways, we did 12th night in the round, which means that there's the stage in the center and the audience surrounds the stage on all sides. So we built like this platform in the middle that was built to look like a water lily. And we cut like wooden, flower petal shaped wooden, we cut like plywood into the shape of each flower petal, and then we stapled fabric on it to drape. And it was really fun to build. That's beside the point, though. My point being, Smitten sort of just, like, reminds me of Shakespeare. I got it, but I do kind of love modern-day retelling gimmicks. No, I do appreciate modern-day retelling gimmicks at times. Take, for example, Pride and Prejudice and zombies. Like, it's just so much, like, it is surprisingly faithful to the original, but it is certainly not how the original was meant to be told. But regardless, it's so much fun that you kind of can't hate it for not being how the original was meant to be told. Literally just watched Romeo and Juliet a couple days ago. It's really good, although I think a lot of people misinterpret it, but that's beside the point. I mean, on one hand, it is a love story, yes, but it is also inherently a tragedy. It's not necessarily meant to be something aspirational. It's meant to be sort of a cautionary tale. Idea: Waiting for Godot modern retelling about two guys waiting to be fired. Honestly, Waiting for Godot still holds up in a modern context. I mean, obviously you could update it to reflect modern conveniences, like, for example, cell phones. But I think the message of Waiting for Godot especially holds up to being set in a modern context better than a lot of classic theater does. The other one that I think could hold up very easily with only a couple of changes would be Death of a Salesman, which I think would hit especially hard now. But that's, again, irrelevant. I should focus on the game.
The princess jumps up and
I could probably ramble about theater for far too long. The princess jumps up and smothers you in a joyful embrace. Ugh. I feel like this game relates to Romeo and Juliet in quite a few ways with a couple different chapters. I mean, it tells us in the beginning of the game that after all, this is a love story. And so it does share that fundamental nature with Romeo and Juliet, although Romeo and Juliet has significantly less cosmic horror elements and significantly fewer existential crises. But something tells me that Shakespeare's priority in writing Romeo and Juliet was not exactly making the characters have an existential crisis.
If only you had a weapon, one slip of the wrist and your pristine blade would be buried in her back and everyone out there would be saved. Luckily for Mr. Romance, we don't have a weapon. Who needs a weapon when we have the power of love on our side?
Oh, Era404, welcome! Hello! We're playing Slay the Princess, and I guess talking about Shakespeare and theater. Remember the yearly Shakespeare festivals? Honestly, I do kind of miss performing in theater. Like, so I'm a college student now, and honestly, between college and homework and streaming, I don't have time to be in a show, but I really do miss performing. That could actually be something interesting to do, is to get a couple of VTubers with theater experience together and perform as best you can when everyone's using a model classic play. So Romeo and Juliet or some other Shakespeare play, or maybe even like a modern classic.
What do we do now?
She is so like princessy, and I know she's called the damsel, but man, like what do we do now? Or, well, she has more of like an uptick to the end of her sentences, so. What do we do now? Explore, what do you want to do?
Let me guess. End the world? Spoken with the rank cynicism of someone who has never felt love in his heart.
I don't actually know. Nobody's ever asked me what I wanted before.
Nobody's ever asked me what I wanted before.
She doesn't even know what
She's
she
so,
wants. You may have had her all wrong. What if this whole thing is just a misunderstanding? What if she doesn't want to end the world?
Oh man, another ad break on Twitch. I really need to fix that. I'll have to mess with my settings again after stream. I mean, I guess I can talk about theater more. That might actually be something that would be fun to get people together and do, is to get together a bunch of VTubers, or maybe even like... or maybe just other creators who don't have to be VTubers and do like a live performance of a play. I think that would be really cool, actually. I don't really have the bandwidth between school and trying to keep up a regular streaming schedule and homework and being a functioning human being. I wouldn't really have time to organize it right now, but maybe in a couple months after school's over? Ad break is finishing now. Sweet. Okay, now we can get back to the game.
You're so gullible. Is the only thing you've ever doubted the actual truth?
Oh, hi, Brime. Welcome.
I think I want to leave. And I think...
The princess closes her eyes in deep reflection. And then she shrugs.
I don't know. What do you want to do?
I want you to tell me what you want. There must be something you want. Do you want to end the world? I just want to leave. We can figure out the rest later.
That sounds perfect.
And she really is just so princessy. I never got to be in a play, but would love to. It would be significantly more challenging if everybody is using a model, because it's just facial expressions don't translate quite as well. Like, the rigging on my model is pretty damn good, and I've messed with my settings a lot to try and get it to reflect my actual expressions, but even then it doesn't capture it perfectly. But maybe just with voices could work. Just voices and art.
The princess takes your hand, the last hopes of the entire world slipping through your fingers as they intertwine with hers. We have each other. We don't need the world for our happy ending. I like to think that you do, actually. Look, I have my doubts, but the choice has been made and this is happening. You don't have to mope about it.
As petty as it is, there is definitely joy in... want to hear a joke? Sure, let's hear a joke. And whatchamacallit want to do, let's just be happy. Sure, let me hear a joke.
I will mope about it, because moping is the only recourse you love-blind fools have left me with.
What was I saying?
You and the princess walk up the stairs hand in hand. Ugh, look at the way she's smiling at you. She doesn't have to be so happy about this.
That sounds like a really good idea, the streamer play, but it also heavily depends on what play it is, because it can be very boring. Yeah, that is the issue with not really having like a 3D space to interact in. Well, I mean, obviously you could, in theory, do it with the 3D space to interact in if you had a motion capture studio, but I certainly don't have access to a motion capture studio, and I doubt most of the other people I would be able to convince to do this do either, so. Did you know Bruce Lee has a twin brother? His name is Brocco Lee. Oh, Macbeth. Macbeth is a decent suggestion. Although I don't know, get everyone in VR chat. Maybe, although again, that assumes that everyone has like full body 3D tracking. Would Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf work in an audio format? In theory, yes. In practice, I don't actually know. I've never tried to picture what that would be with only audio, although I suppose that is significantly less staging dependent than some other plays. Cluster supports XR. XR Animator is definitely an option, yeah. Although, again, there is the limitation of facial expressions, because no matter what you do, facial expressions are never going to perfectly translate to a model. Even with the best face tracking out there, it's still not going to perfectly translate, I don't think. Although, if any of y'all are familiar with HoloLive's Kiara, she recently did a stream with the game Inzoi, and apparently that has a 3D tracking option where you can translate that to your model, and the facial expressions were pretty damn realistic for that. But again, I think you would need a much more advanced tracking setup than most of the people I think I would be able to reach out to would have access to get it to translate with that level of quality. Because again, HoloLive talents have access to much more advanced tracking setups than the average indie streamer does. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this chapter.
And what happens after we walk up the stairs? Let's see. Oh, isn't that interesting? The door slams in your face and the lock clicks.
Did some research on stage plays for Project Moon OC, so I know just a little bit about theater. Cool. I mean, Project Moon does have quite a few allusions to classic theater in it. Well, Library of Arena in particular has allusions to classic literature, which includes classic theater, but isn't limited to classic theater. And I actually haven't played Limbus Company yet, so I don't really know about that one, but maybe I should play Lobotomy Corp for Library of Reno on stream sometime. That would be a good game to play, I think. Certainly lots to talk about, and like philosophical pondering and plenty of theory crafting to do with that game. As soon as singing March is over, I'm going to start designing a HoloLive style concert for 3D VTubers. Oh, that would be so cool. I've mentioned it before, but I want to be in like a big like HoloLive style concert someday.
That's a familiar move. Did I do that last time? Then you should know that you won't be able to leave.
Oh no! Did someone lock us in here? That's not fair. We're supposed to leave now.
She's right. It isn't fair. But the unfairnesses of the world are no match for the strength of true love. Enough with this true love nonsense. You just met her.
Could talk for days on Hamlet. Yeah, honestly, Hamlet is incredible.
Of course you wouldn't understand.
Actually, that one would actually. I think Hamlet would work fairly well in an audio drama style format because it's not super staging dependent. Although I do personally think Macbeth would be more enjoyable. Well, not necessarily more enjoyable for the audience, but I think Macbeth would be more fun to perform. But again, either of them could very easily work in an audio drama type format.
Are you listening to this? You don't have to go along with the every whim of that delusional voice. I'm just along for the ride at this point.
I think we can open it if we try together. Or I think I've got this. Open the door by yourself.
Okay, yeah, you've got this.
She is the damsel. There ain't no way she opens the door on her own.
You place your hand on the door,
And the lock clicks and the door creaks open. Are you kidding me? Ha! I knew it. Your words are no match for the pure strength of our hearts, bound together as one. You and the princess make your way upstairs, and the blade. That's right, there's still a chance for you to do the right thing. Take the blade from the table and slay her before it's too late.
I don't think I will, thanks. There's, like, it's not the only thing guiding my decisions, but there is a certain level of satisfaction in spiting the narrator here.
You're enjoying this, aren't you? You're taking every opportunity you can to draw out the end of the world and make me suffer.
I've never seen Macbeth, I just know it was a joke in theater. I mean, it's one of Shakespeare's more famous works for a reason, and that's because it's really, really well written. But yes, there is a... So not really a joke, it's like a theater superstition that it is bad luck to say the word Macbeth, to say the name Macbeth or the word Macbeth, either referring to the character or referring to the play. When you're in a theater, it's believed to be bad luck. It's like the same thing as like walking under a ladder type of thing, or breaking a mirror. It's more of a superstition than anything, but it's believed it'll bring bad luck to both the person who said it and the show as a whole.
You know, if her walking out that door is really going to end the world, can't we all just stay here? Seems like an easy win for everyone. That's not how this works. Yes, what he said. That's not how this works. Obviously, we have to leave with her. It's our happy ending.
The only Shakespeare-adjacent thing I've seen performed was Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. That's a good one as well. But there's a 3-hour movie of Macbeth, but it's well worth watching. That's fair. I do believe if you were to compare Macbeth and Hamlet in terms of just like feasibility to be performed as an audio drama, I think Macbeth is likely the better one simply because it has more characters and more happens. Hamlet is a whole lot of introspection and not a whole lot of actual like stuff happening. Of course it has so many iconic monologues like "Alas, poor Yorick." Not at all. There's a 3-hour movie of Macbeth, but it's well worth watching. Completely accurate. Yeah, I mean, if you're performing the play itself, then it's not considered cursed, because obviously you can't perform the play itself without saying the name. But if you're not performing the play, or with the very specific exception of when you're performing the play, it's believed that saying the word Macbeth in reference to the name or the character, or in reference to the play or the character, is bad luck. Or in a theater, specifically in a theater. Like, for me saying it right now, it's just fine. But if you were to say it while you were in a theater, then it would be considered bad luck. With the specific exception of if you're performing the play. I got to read for Midsummer's Night Dream recently in a VTuber project. Ooh, A Midsummer's Night Dream is another really good one. And that one's like, that's a comedy, so there's plenty of funnier aspects to it as well. Twelfth Night could also be fun because it's got this great ensemble cast. I mean, you've got like your 3 or 4 main characters, but Twelfth Night has such a great ensemble to it that it could also be good for, in terms of feasibility, for an audio drama style project.
Yes, I suppose you are going to do that, aren't you? You cross the room, opening the door to the cabin. And then you step outside. Our happy ending at last.
We did it. What should we do now?
Now the world ends.
Where did everything go? Where did he go? Oh, is he gone? I hadn't noticed. I was too busy staring deep into our beloved's eyes.
The opening of Midsummer's Night Dream should be, once upon a time there was a man named Nick Bottom, and then it got worse. Oh, something wrong. Again, musical, which musicals tend to have at least one song that's reliant on choreography, so musicals are significantly harder to do in an audio drama format. Unless it's something that's more conceptual. For example, like Hades Town could be something that's isn't really as dependent on choreography. Is still fairly staging dependent, but not as dependent on choreography in and of itself. But yeah, Something Rotten would be so much fun, but in particular, not a particularly good one for an audio-only format because it's heavily reliant on choreography. Although there are enough jokes in there to certainly appeal to like a more comedy-focused audience, so, like someone who's not necessarily as enthusiastic about like serious theater. Not to say that like Something Rotten is less valuable as a piece of art than anything else. It's just a lot more comedic than something like Romeo and Juliet is at a base level.
I'm cold. Is being happy supposed to be so cold?
She's cold. Quick, our feathers. Pluck them all and weave her a coat worthy of a princess.
We have feathers? Apparently we have feathers. You don't get the chance to make that jacket, nor will you ever. It's time for you to leave. Memory returns.
She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her? And is that a mirror? Why is it here? Why now? But it feels so bad. Like looking into it right now is going to be the end of everything. Yes, I fear that we won't like what we'll see. What if we just sit here and preen for a while? That can't hurt, right?
Okay, so we do have feathers. Are we like some kind of bird creature? I mean, I guess next to handwife, the concept of us having feathers is not necessary. Or handswife? Hands plural. So yeah, next to handswife, it's not as bizarre of a concept, but it is still slightly weird. It's not the end. Whatever's on the other side's going to be nice.
Okay. If you say so, we'll trust you.
Dear, sweet, lovely, so divine and beautiful, only matched in her kindness, handswife beckons. I swear that name keeps getting longer.
She'll be there waiting for us. I just know it.
I mean, I guess in some form she will. But, not in the way you're thinking. You approach the mirror. Silence as you reach forward. They're gone once again. The mirror always makes them leave. But you need to see what's in it. You've withered. Interesting. You find yourself in the long quiet once again. Proceed to the cavern. Wait, I just realized I'm doing the Nidhichi bit. Burb. Yes, apparently I am at least part burb. It looks like I'm also part reptile based on my hands. But approach her. And there she is. Dear, sweet, lovely, so divine and beautiful, only matched in her kindness, hands, wife.
Once in where directions in my attention can bear to hold. To look at any one is to shift them all into something new. And to look away is to reshape them yet again. All of me is changing, and yet the rest of me is still the same.
Doesn't matter how many times I go back, at least one of us always hurts the other. Doesn't that change you? Doesn't that make you worse? Might as well ask.
It changes me, but it doesn't make me worse, nor does it make me care for you any less. Does it make you worse? Do you resent me?
I don't resent her, but I also don't, like, appreciate her for it. Are verbs reptiles or reptile adjacent? I mean, given that they likely both evolved in different directions from the same base set of creatures, I guess they're adjacent. But birds and reptiles, as they exist right now, are two very different classifications of animal. If anything, it makes me like you more. I don't know what that says about me. That seems like the right answer to me.
It says that your heart is gentle, that even in the darkness you are guided by compassion.
What do you think of this vessel?
This one is soft and delicate. You molded her to love you, and she'll make for a gentle heart.
Bird with gills yet man? Birdfish.
Do not mourn her.
He is just...
She has served her purpose.
If she's Han's wife, does that make us Animal's husband? But dinosaurs aren't reptiles, apparently. No, I believe that dinosaurs are still considered reptiles, they're just feathered. And anyways, not all dinosaurs had feathers, I don't think. Too much introspection. Yeah, fair enough, honestly. There is a whole lot of introspection when it comes to this game. Do you know what happens to the worlds we leave behind?
My perspectives are shadowed. You have seen what I have seen, just as I have seen what you have seen. The angles of my vantage do not offer me hidden truths, and my attention is turned inward, except when you are here with me. Perhaps this will change when our work is done.
How many more vessels do I need to bring to you?
We will know when we near our destination.
Okay, so I do not get a concrete answer.
I will be here when it is time for us to meet again.
Hey, the noise didn't jump scare me this time.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and end things here for today. I'll have to see who I can raid on Twitch. But anyways, I'm going to try and be back on Thursday. I hopefully will be. My schedule's a tiny bit chaotic this week, so I'm not entirely sure if I'll be here on Thursday, but if I'm not here on Thursday, I will definitely be here on Friday. Don't really know what else to say other than thank you all so much for watching. I've got to find... Is there anyone I'm following who's streaming? Oh, Pear Doll has her affiliate anniversary going on right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and raid her if that's alright with y'all. And, yeah, until then, thank you all so much for stopping by. The VOD will be up on my Twitch and my YouTube channels if you want to check out the earlier endings we experienced. And, I hope I'll see y'all later. Bye.